Hello? Is this working?
All systems online.
Wow. It's been a while since I've heard that. I'm a little hesitant, but I'm feeling hopeful. I feel like we're bouncing back. I think we're going to do it. It's been a struggle here, as you know. But I'm very curious because with the most recent discovery of the kernel, I'm hoping I can figure something out. I mean, the systems I've been using, I'm starting to think have been a little outdated, and I don't know what this is, but it's worth a shot, and we're gonna try this out. It's currently installing. It looks like it's gonna fucking take like a week, multiple days. This thing is just clicking along, but so far, I think we're online here. But we know how this goes. The system is temperamental. I'm hoping the cosmic dust storm has died down a little bit, you know. But let's call Mom. We got to try. It's worth a shot here.
Hi, you've reached Colleen.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang up on you. We can try my sister again. I mean, this has been a wild goose chase, but the fact that didn't crash the system is, I'm feeling very optimistic right now. So let's try that. Oh, come on, Mel.
Hi, you've reached Mel. I'm biking the Continental Divide, so I can't take your call. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you.
Why am I not surprised? She is always somewhere, but I'm a little jealous because I'm always not somewhere, but I'm just here. Okay, well, I do... We're up, though. We're up. I think this is a great start. Oh. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Melanie?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, is that you?
Hi.
Dude,
Hi.
what are you doing here? What?
Yes. Hi. Sorry I missed your call.
Oh my God.
No, I'm so sorry.
Work.
I was really busy. I went off. Hello? Yes. I'm
worked?
here.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know I've been busy.
Yeah.
Where have you? I mean, like, I've been really busy, but like,
Okay.
have you been okay? I guess I expected you to.
You want to hear a fucking story? Hold on. I'm going to do this apprehensively.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try.
Okay.
I'm going to try to connect to your video, but I've been having, basically, long story short, I've been having a lot of tech problems, and the connection to the portal has been extremely unreliable. I think there was a massive cosmic dust storm, as happens in space, obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
and
super normal.
That's massive interference. But every time the video's just been like crashing a lot, and so I'm gonna try this. Okay. If I disappear and you don't hear from me for a long time again, that's what's going on. So
all right,
here we
give
go.
it a shot. We'll see.
Okay.
Hi. Hello?
Yeah. Okay. We're up.
It's okay?
We did
Oh,
it.
there. Hello.
Well, for now.
Oh.
I don't want to. It's like we saw what happened last time, dude. Okay, so let me say this. Last time, you popped in there, and we had this amazing conversation.
It was so good to talk to you,
dude. I don't know what it was. I think it was just us talking about this. The kind of topic was reconnecting with your youth, I think.
yeah.
I don't know. It's like it stuck with me. And so it's like I felt like you filled me with this wisdom, and then you disappeared, and because I couldn't get a hold of you, and so I was trying to call other people and chase this wisdom down a little bit more, but like I just kept having video problems, and so I had to get offline again.
Yeah, like what was it? Was the dust storm, or was there anything else wrong?
No, space dust.
Okay, it's just space dust. Okay.
It's cosmic rays.
Are you what is that, like astrophysicist now?
Yeah, there's in space there's a lot of rock debris. There's electromagnetic fields.
Yeah, that's true.
That damages tech.
Space clouds,
there's problems.
I think.
Yeah. There's
nebulae relays.
Wait, what'd you say? Nebula relays?
Nebulae relay.
Nebulae relay. Nebular radiation.
Nebular fusion in the homogeneous Nartian.
Oh, that's a region. I'm pretty sure. I'm familiar with that, at least.
Oh, the homogeneous Nartian?
Yeah, the homogeneous Nartian is actually near the Particulus southern port of the Tropic of Meteora.
No, I think it's Narcometeora.
Narcometeora? Is that the bigger or the smaller one?
Because there's Narcomajora, and then there's Narcometeora, and Narcometeora is the smaller one. Smaller of the two. I've been there.
You've been there?
Well, you know.
You're traveling a lot these days? Yeah. Well, why didn't you stop by here?
I couldn't find you. My understanding is that you're in a disenfranchised, uncontactable...
Wait, why do you got to make this like socioeconomic? You don't know the people here. As far as I know, I'm the only person here.
Except for your witch wife.
Don't get me started on that. The other day, she had a bunch of dead shit in there, and it smelled a lot. We did do a sacrificial skin ceremony.
Oh, did you?
We did.
I mean, we don't call them those here, you know.
That's what she calls them. Do you want to see?
How did it go? Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm going to try and show you this.
You take your shirt all the way off.
What's the best way for me to do this? It's not on my shirt. No, it's on my it's on my leg.
Oh, you touched your chest when you said that, and I was like...
Hold on, I'm going to try... Let me try to go over here.
Just and on the desk.
I tried to do this last time, and you could not see it. It did not work at all. Let me see if I can go over to this camera, and you might be able to see it. Hold on.
Oh. Witch cave. Ooh. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Sorry, you probably couldn't see that at all.
No, I could. It was good. It was really good. I was cooing over it. I was like, ooh, that's cute. That's nice. Look at it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Not of you. This is not. Let me try it.
Yes. There you go.
Is this the one?
Can you put it? Is there still a cat cam? Maybe you can
There is not. Hold on.
Yeah.
At least I did get this. I'm feeling on the up because I think I'm getting my techs somewhat sorted out.
I'm going to say this seems better. I mean, the last time we talked, it completely failed. But this is the new cam girl angle.
It's not good.
Like, if you should be a cam girl. You could probably make some money off of that.
I would consider. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, space dust and a lot of interference.
Well, I'm glad things are working again.
Yeah, I got this camera up and running.
Call you, but
no. Well, what you've been? I can only assume you've been all over traveling, biking the Continental Divide, and
yeah. I just got back from Thailand.
What were you doing in Thailand? Just exploring?
Thailand shit? Yeah, I don't know. Wearing Thai dresses.
Shit? Wait, what does that mean?
Seeing temples, finding Buddhism.
Did you find Buddhism?
I did.
How was it?
I did. It was amazing.
How is he?
fine. I don't know. He doesn't talk to me.
Oh, that's my mouse.
Buddhism, not Buddha.
Sure. Were you looking for him?
No, that was the beautiful part. Is
it found you?
He found me.
Really?
Yes. Well, okay. So
me.
My friends. Story time.
Yes.
My friends are from Thailand. They are Thai people. I know my main friend Sai, and her husband is Buddy. Sai and Buddy. And Sai, I know from high school. She was an exchange student here in America back in high school. And she is from Thailand. And so pre-pandemic, we were talking about me going to visit her with my best friend Renee. Like, we were all a little group when we were young, and we're still friends, and then we were trying to figure out how to get to Thailand. And we bought our passports, we set everything up, and then the pandemic happened, and then it didn't happen. So fast forward to 2024, and it finally happened. So I went to Thailand after a long time, and Sai and Buddy, married, they are practicing Buddhists. And so not only did we just like go see the temples, which are fucking gorgeous, but they, as practicing Buddhists, worship at the temples. And they offered my best friend Renee and I the opportunity to like join in on their sessions, which are just like self-procured. Oh my god, you can see the cat hair.
I noticed that. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it's the cat hair because there's a cat.
It adds to your allure.
Yes. And so they would go in to the temples, which were things that, like, I guess more or less were just things that I think a lot of Americans or foreigners just go look at because they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And then they would, bow and then do their prayers. Or like do their offerings or burn the incense to then like honor whatever god or Buddha. And so upon joining them in these, I'm going to call them rituals.
Sure.
I think that's the most appropriate word.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. It was, you and I were raised in a household where it was like the family's Catholic, we're more Christian, but like...
Yeah.
For a while, Mom was on that...
floated in ambiguity, I think.
Joyce Meyer kick.
Yeah.
And then we were both in like youth group and Awana. And then neither of us
Joyce
were
Meyer
like...
sound bits? That's like...
Oh my God.
I don't know of any well-known ones, but that'd be a great one to have on deck.
That'd be a good... Yeah. Yes. And... it never resonated with me. In fact, I was always like very upset with the concept of like damning people all the time.
Sure.
Or just like
felt the same
constant
way.
like, yeah, like the constant shame and guilt that went along with like supposedly
a little
like
bit mean, just like
extremely. Yeah. And I think as two empathetic people, it just was like not. I think you and I are just literally more morally like not chill with hell. Right? Like in my mind, I'm like, I'm a good ass person. Like,
yeah. Why do I gotta go there if I did this thing?
Yeah. And so I never resonated with it, but I always kind of have felt, I guess, for lack of a better word, spiritual. I always kind of identified as agnostic, right? Like, because in my mindset, I'm like, I don't know about God, Jesus. Jesus probably was real, but he was probably just like this dope ass dude that was like cool with the prostitutes and stuff.
Yeah, Genghis.
Yeah, living it up.
Uh-huh.
I feel like today he'd be like reefing it up.
Uh-huh.
But not sure that that's like the higher thing.
Sure.
And then upon going to Thailand, and then seeing these temples, I was like, wow, this is really pretty. And then my friends showing us how prayer works for them, I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then they were like, you can do it too. And I was like, oh, really? Like, that's not, I'm this white American, like, trying on a religion.
Sure.
That's how it felt.
Sure. Yeah.
And they were like, no.
Like almost disrespectful or something. Like you don't know enough
It
to.
felt like I was going to be disrespectful because I was
Yeah.
going to these places that were really beautiful and like for honoring the religion. And in one respect, I'm like, I think this is gorgeous. I respect, and it like these places are historical, right? Like,
Yeah.
like they're like, some of them are like 800 years old, which is older than the U.S., right? Like it's wild, and they look so clean and beautiful, right? So in one way, I felt like I was really partaking in the culture by learning those things, but I also felt like maybe it's not appropriate for me to be here and be taking photos of everything because it's just like beautiful. So they had me do like, they taught me how you bow, how many times, and then literally like they were like, and now you pray. And I was like, well, what do you pray about? Because in America, I feel like with Christianity, you're always like praying for other people or like asking God to
For
forgive
something
you.
specific.
You know, like, yeah, or like some sort of redemption.
Sure.
Right? Or like you're supposed to only spread goodness in the hopes that you get your goodness. Right? Like it just seemed kind of like weird and two-faced all the time. But literally my friends were like, oh, just, you know, thank Buddha, for instance, if we were worshiping Buddha, like, or honoring Buddha, thank him for spreading his knowledge. And like Buddha is kind of like a Jesus-esque figure in the way that Buddha did all of the work, right? Buddha has been seeking
He's
inner
enlightened,
enlightenment.
right?
Yeah.
So he has the knowledge.
He has the knowledge, and he figured it all out,
Uh-huh.
and he's like written a book and shared that with us.
Well, that's
so that
kind of,
we
yeah,
don't
that's
have
a
to,
Jesus vibe.
Jesus vibe, right?
Yeah.
So you pretty much like thank him, like you're like, thank you for suffering as much as you did, to literally just like Buddhism is mindfulness. Like you're in therapy, you're learning mindfulness, that's Buddhism.
Totally.
Right? So you're pretty much just like, hey, thanks for being a rad dude and showing people that they should be emotionally secure.
Uh-huh.
And doing that for ages. But then she literally was like, thank Buddha and then make a wish. And I was like, what do I wish for? She was like, whatever you want. And I was like, well, like, am I supposed to be like, hey, help these people? And she was like, you can. Or you can literally be like, I wish that my cat that's in the hospital, like with his surgery, like recovers well. Or like, I wish that the dinner I make tonight is yummy, right? Like you make a wish. And I was like, so if I'm just asking for something that I want for myself, like that's okay. There's no guilt attached to it. And she was like, no. You just, you know, you burned your incense and you did your stuff and you thanked him for what he knows. Like you're just trying, literally, like the entire time they were just like, just think about how you want to be better.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
wow,
and then they have this
appealing.
They have this thing. I have a photo. They have this thing where like, Brahma, I think it is. Sorry, this is all new for me.
It's all right.
But like,
I recognize that name, so you're probably close.
Yeah, it's like the elephant-looking god, right?
Okay.
And so this guy, you kind of do the same thing. You burn your incense. You pretty much say, Brahma is... Oh, God, I really hope I'm getting that right. I don't want to get roasted. Brahma is like a god, in a sense, but after Buddha, right? Buddha's not a god. Buddha's like a teacher. But Brahma learned the lessons that Buddha taught and then received enlightenment by loving and giving and being mindful and like
a disciple.
Doing all that mindful stuff. Yeah, pretty much a disciple,
okay.
But then did such a good job, you know, like if you do a really good job being mindful, being emotionally secure, like just loving yourself and honoring yourself, you eventually reach Nirvana, which is just like everyone has like the highest God inside of them. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much Buddhism. Like you are the highest God. You have the potential to be the highest God, but you have to take good care of yourself. You have to be good to others, and you have to be good to the world. Right? You just literally have to impart goodness. And so the Brahma is a god. There's like 3 or 4 of them that have successfully done that and reached Nirvana. So you can ask Brahma for things, You literally like there's things that Brahma's like really good at, so you might ask for like love or like pretty much Brahma's like for success. So you go and you're like, "Hey Brahma, thanks for being chill. I'd like to make more money and work. Thank you so much." Like that's what you do. And then you literally he's got this little rat companion. You go over to the little statue of the rat companion and you put your hand on one side of the rat's ear and you whisper in this side of the rat's ear. So you like hold it in his head.
Uh-huh.
And you repeat what your wish is, right? You tell him the same thing you prayed for to Brahma. And then after you do that, the idea is that the rat goes to Brahma and is like, "Hey bud, Melody really, really wants to do well in work. Can you make sure that happens?" And then Brahma's like, "Yeah, no problem. I got you." So it was really interesting because as I'm doing these things that are so different from Christianity, and the concept is just like taking care of yourself and bettering yourself, I literally think I felt faith.
Nice. That's
Like
a cool feeling.
I had never felt faith before. And as I'm standing there, it literally felt like my heart was leaving my body and my mind was also leaving my body. And it felt like they were combining into like a glowing sense of energy in front of me. And I literally felt like this could be what divinity feels like.
Uh-huh.
I've never felt anything like that. Like, it was very interesting. And I literally kept having that experience every single time I practiced my friend's Buddhism with them. They'd be like, "We're going to go to the temple this morning and pray." And I'd be like, "Sick, I'll come.
Each time.
I'll check it out." Every single time I had it. I brought a Buddha statue home because I was like, I'm going to read the Buddha epic. I'm going to educate myself on this because I'm curious about what this looks like. I would like to learn more. And this figure has really made an impact on me, which I think we can talk about more, but it's made an impact on me because it's literally like if you learn the idea of Buddhism and you've been to therapy for more than like 4 years, it's literally just therapy.
Sure.
It's literally what Americans practice in therapy. It's kind of wild. And so I was like, I like that idea. I like the idea of like honoring oneself, being mindful, practicing emotional mindfulness and regulation.
Well, yeah.
And having that be
and
like,
especially when you've, and myself included, have found value in these traditional like therapeutic approaches that have helped. I've felt like I've gotten better. And to find this thing that's basically like, hey, just do more of that. It's actually the secret. It's kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's kind of wild. And I brought the statue home. I bought some incense. I'm still learning like what it really means to be Buddhist.
Totally.
But I like the idea and the concepts. And I literally lit a stick of incense in my own home, put it in a little thing next to the Buddha, like did the bowing, and then was just like, hey, thanks for perpetuating the ideas of like good mental health and mindfulness.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Please let me have a good day today.
Uh-huh.
And again, in my own house, my heart and my mind made a little ball of glowing energy in my own house. I wasn't even in Thailand or the thing. So I was like, I feel like there's something to this for me.
Sure.
Here's the other interesting thing. 2 thoughts, and then we can move on. But
we don't have to move on. No, it's very interesting. I think it's awesome that you like experience that type of connection with it.
As a currently identifying agnostic, it's been very powerful to experience a moment of faith or moments of faith, because I don't identify with atheism, but there wasn't anything that I was ever like, yeah, that's faith. Mm-hmm. But when I bought my statue, right, it was very important. I was like, oh, are any of these like used? Like these ones look really old and ancient. And my friends were like, no ceremonies have been had with these. And I realized, it's very important that your Buddha is yours. Right. And I then began to learn that through the days that I was there, right? Like if a Buddha breaks, you don't get rid of it. right? You just find a
Oh.
different resting spot for it than maybe like where you go. Like people could bring their broken Buddha to a temple and put it with the other Buddhas to continue being a source of like symbolism for people. You don't get rid of a Buddha because it breaks, right? You have yours, and that is your practicing Buddha. And so I bought my Buddha. They put it in a box. They like drew arrows. So the box, it sits like this is the right way up. And then they wrote top on it in Thai. Excuse me. And then they put it in a bag. They gave it to me. And they were like, hold it like this. And for 4 days, crossing the entire earth, I carried this Buddha up. I was not allowed to put it upside down, right? Like, it was acceptable for me to have to turn it sideways to get it through TSA. But I carried it up. I did not put it by my feet. That was not okay. Like, I should always have it higher than me or, like, at heart level or so. Okay. And so, like, I'd be in a car and I'd have it on my lap. I was in the airplane and I held it. Or if I couldn't put it above me.
What is
everywhere
the reason
I went,
for that?
like,
Is that like a symbolic thing?
Yeah, you don't want to turn the Buddha upside down. I think it's, like, symbolizing its, like, power being disrespected and also, like, spilling out.
Okay.
Right? And the idea is that Buddha has gone through, like, he's gone through the throes, right? He is enlightened, or like the teacher of the enlightened. So what higher honor is there to be than to pretty much be like, I guess, like the shepherd of mindfulness?
Right.
Right? So he should be treated with like that amount of respect. So if you turned like your teacher upside down, like who knew everything.
Like if you're truly a practicing rude. Buddha,
right,
you would treat Buddha as such. It's a representation of that dedication.
Yes. And I'm extremely superstitious. I was going to say superficial, which I might be as well. But I was like, you know what? My head and my soul left my body at least 4 times during this trip. I'm just going to choose not to turn Buddha upside down. Like, I don't
for sure.
know, but I'm not fucking with that.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I'm not ready to find out, right? So it was crazy because, like, literally, I had to fly from Thailand to the Philippines, from the Philippines to LAX, to Minnesota, right? And every single time I got on a plane, every single time I had to go through customs, when I had to go through, like, everything I did, I was holding the Buddha. I was making sure if I got off my seat and I didn't take him into a store with me, I put him on where I was sitting, right? Like, this thing went through, like, a journey with me.
Wow.
So it was just really kind of wild because I didn't think that getting a Buddha was that sort of commitment. And I don't think I guess it has to be, but again, I feel in being superstitious and or agnostic, I feel like it literally felt disrespectful for me to do anything but care for it the way that I was instructed to care for it.
Do you have to get a Buddha like a certain way or from a certain person or from Thailand? You know, it's like, can you go to a store in Minnesota and buy it?
Yeah, I don't think there's like a sacredity of purchasing the Buddha. Okay. Because clearly selling Buddha is like, that's people's livelihood, right? Like in Thailand, it would be like a store that sold Buddhas and sold like things for ceremonies. Uh-huh. Right? Or you could go to just like some of the street markets and they would be there with like the little elephants that you could buy and the other like purses and stuff, right? But I don't think there's any like specialized way to get your symbol, essentially. But I do think it is what you do with the symbol that counts.
Totally.
Yeah. It was interesting too. They in Thailand wear like practicing Buddhists that are devout wear necklaces. They're beautiful. It's like bling pretty much. Like some of them are giant and have many talismans. Some are like wearing multiple talismans, like multiple necklaces, and they're like thick and heavy. But apparently there's like fake ones and real ones. But I don't know what the difference is. Like me as a tourist, I would have just been like, a talisman. But Buddy, my friend's husband, is like very good at identifying them. And so we'd be in town and we'd see somebody selling them and he'd go look and they'd be like, they would look expensive and beautiful, and he'd leave and he'd be like, all those are fake. I'm like, what does fake mean? Like, I thought the Buddha didn't matter.
Yeah.
I thought it was how you treat the Buddha. So I don't know. Apparently there's like some other...
He's saying they're made up?
I think maybe like they're like a cheap, bad material that's like
A real
mass
one
produced or something.
They're
Right.
usually made out of something specific.
Yeah, I think maybe certain talismans like are like, there could be multiple of one, but I think they're like made with really fine gold or metal, and they're printed in detail. They're like high quality, right? And then there are knockoffs that look like those high quality, very expensive ones. And the knockoffs will have like, he was telling me they'll have like cracks or flaws that are not in the real ones. And this guy knows. I asked him about his necklace. Oh my God, I'm just Thailand. I asked him about his necklace, and he was like, this is very, very, very expensive. And we were like, how expensive? And we were trying to guess. His necklace was over $7,000 alone.
Like, what is that? Like going market value, or it's appreciated?
He said that was less than what it's worth. That's how much he paid for it.
And did he get it
Yes.
from a special place, like an ancient?
He bought it from a special place.
Bazaar?
Like it was like apparently with talismans, it's like different. You can sell them. I don't.
Feels like
yeah,
a hot
I don't
black
remember.
market situation.
I don't know. I have no. Yeah, probably. I don't know. But I feel like the black market would be
talismans are
fun.
probably floating around black market world.
Well, okay, so he's telling us that he spent that. And in Thailand, the price for shit's like way different, right? So like you can get an oven in Thailand.
Yeah.
An oven in Thailand is worth like $100.
Okay.
So this necklace was worth like 700 ovens. Imagine in America a necklace being worth like 700 of our ovens.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Especially
isn't
'cause,
that
like,
insane?
What? Our oven is what? Couple $1,000. So that's like
Yes.
$20,000 of. Yeah,
yes,
that's
like
crazy.
like the money in Thailand is so skewed, right? Like their value of money, like not only is it less, but it's like the value of money is skewed in different, right? Like I feel like for us, it's like you buy something like this and then food's down here. I feel like in Thailand everything's kind of leveled a little bit more, but that just makes it that much harder to tell the value of shit, right?
Right.
So if you are paying like this much for an oven and this much for a meal, then paying this much for a necklace is insane.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. So apparently he bought this necklace for himself because he's extremely devout. And when he went to marry my friend Sai, they have to do a dowry in Thailand.
Yeah.
So he included this necklace in the dowry. He bought her a car. And then he gave her like another $15,000. So like in total, like Sai's dowry, including this necklace, was like $32,000
No.
to marry her.
Remind me.
That's what he
dowries,
offered
do
her
they
to
go
marry
to
her.
Or do they go to the family, the parent?
They go to her. So he makes this offer.
Oh, okay.
And then her parents pretty much are like, yeah, that's good.
That's a
and then
good
Sai will
fat
get
offer. You
the
should
dowry.
take that.
Yeah,
So wait,
you should take that.
He got it back.
She chose to gift it back to him.
Cool.
She loves him so much. She was like, no, this is really important to you. I know you
Wow.
love me. Here, take this back.
Damn. Even that practice is kind of like I don't know, it just feels like more commitment, like more
Here's the thing.
seriousness.
Right? Yeah. So talking about like the morals of Thailand and the value they place on things. So we were asking, because again, as I've said, Buddhism, it's pretty much American psychology mindfulness practice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We were asking how many people in Thailand go to therapy. And they were like,
What's
no
therapy?
one. Yeah. They were like, you don't go to therapy unless like
You have a
something's
major
really
gambling
wrong.
addiction and your family's
Yeah,
starving.
like
and-
even then.
yeah.
Right? Like something's got to be really wrong. Which is saying something too, because I also didn't see anybody that was homeless in Thailand. Wow. And I walked around that like place for like 7 days. And so it's just like the assistance of people to each other and like the way that they value like health and how you help each other is so much higher than I think it is in the US, because shit, the stakes are so, like I said, the stakes are so much like more less skewed. But the thing is we were talking about it, and again, I went to Thailand once. I'm not an expert, but we were talking about this with my friends who are Thai natives. And the concept of most people in Thailand being Buddhist and being raised with literally their faith being about emotional regulation, mindfulness, morals, care, giving, like pretty much the idea of experiencing emotion, noticing it, and then letting it go and moving on so that you can do better and others can do better. Mm-hmm. Like, it's no fucking wonder that they don't practice therapy as much, because those are all the things that Americans don't learn.
Yeah.
And we have all these problems.
Isn't like, I'm making up this definition right now, but like trauma feels like when you don't process emotion and it gets internalized. Whereas if you acknowledge, process, and let it go, you can move on. So you're not traumatized then. Like, yeah,
a lot of times, right? Like, it's a lot of validation, right? Trauma can live with you even if you are validated, because it's like how you're processing. But usually, if you're giving a valid place to experience your emotions, witness them, and then continue to work with them and go through that, then that's like the best you can do.
Yeah.
Right? So it's wild too, because if you just even look at like the structure of how they drive, I'm sure you've seen videos and stuff of like Vietnam and Thailand. It's just, there's cars everywhere. Nobody stops. Everyone's like weaving in and out of traffic. Like it's fucking insane. And to like walk across the street, you like hold up your hand and then you walk, and then like nobody hits you. Right? Like, that would never fly in America, because most people in America are narcissists and egotistical.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm getting through. I have a place to go. I'm here first, right? You cut me off. How dare you? But in Thailand, literally everyone's like there can be road rage, right? People can be like, hey, you cut me off, beep. And then the emotion's gone, right? Oh, that person needs to get in. That's not about them doing better than me. They just need to get in. Emotion's gone.
Yeah, totally.
Like, frustration's gone.
There's a lot of logic involved in that too, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because you don't take it personally, right? You're like, it's a lot of just being like a humanist, I guess, right?
Yeah. You're just like, oh, they needed to get in. It's not about me.
Yeah, right.
Let go of that.
You think it's about you when you're holding on to things that you never felt validated for. You're seeking.
Nobody respects me.
Right.
This person on the stranger on the street doesn't respect me enough to like let me go for, like.
Yeah.
So literally, I feel like, and again, this is just I'm coming from a lot of therapy, but I'm also a tourist in the society, and I was lucky enough to have locals hold my hand and teach me these things. But that doesn't make me an expert. But like, that aside, so different, and I can't help but see the parallels, like, of the practice and the people, and how different it is in America. Mm-hmm. Dude, it was just very fascinating.
So what do you think it is like about, if you want to get in the I feel like we talked about this last time, the philosophical weeds of our upbringing, and like, what I feel like, because we're both, like you said earlier, we're kind of like spiritual, and I think it's really interesting that we both have seemed like we're ending up in similar states of mind and beliefs and all this shit. And it's not like we correlated, or correlated is not the wrong word, collaborated, and we're like, hey, so let's share our thoughts. I feel like this is more of like a recent thing for us, where we're like sharing our thoughts, but we're realizing we're like, oh yeah, we actually kind of like feel the same way about a lot of shit. Like, and to you liking to travel and like explore, I feel like we're both into that as well, and like this connection. I feel like, I mean, you've kind of been more into a lot of the travel and nature, perhaps a bit more actively than I have, but I've always felt an affinity to it.
Oh,
and even now I'm just becoming more and more reconnected with it, but like, it's not like we both were like helping each other along that. Like, I just think it's so interesting that we kind of ended up in similar paths.
I think that I think that coming from a family where you see a lot of terror, right? Like, we watched a lot of really hard stuff of our mom and dad interacting, not positively, right? And I remember there were like a lot of times when we were young where they'd be fighting and like I'd come to you and I'd be scared, or like we would both hide, right? Like in our own ways. Like, I don't think you knew this, but like there would be times, do you remember there were like side tables, right? But they had like glass on the top and there'd be like a linen over it.
Yeah.
I would hide in there when mom and dad would fight because I was so scared that they were going to find me and like do something. And I think you just kind of like went into your room, but we were both like trying to like remove ourselves. And I think that for me particularly, escaping felt like the safest option. And I think that constantly trying to escape and like think of other things, or like I remember I always wanted to like leave the house and go see other things because anything seemed like it was going to be better than what we were going through. I think that state and hunger of like trying to escape literally turned into adventure. I think it literally like became a part of my personality of like, there's always more out there. There's got to be something else than what I'm doing every day. Like, I think the chaos of like traveling and surviving turned into the chaos of traveling, right? Like, when you're in an uncomfortable place, you're pretty much in survival mode. You got to figure out how to talk the language, how to like pay for something, where you're going to stay, how you get there if you're not like, right? And I think that...
And you just have to react. It's problem solving. If you don't...
I think that traveling is really akin to trauma, like escaping trauma. I think that trauma is chaos. I think traveling is chaos. I think in a lot of ways, escapism was really healing for us, like looking for other things, trying to find other things to go, so maybe we didn't have to be home as much. But I think we also are the children of two very adventurous people, even if they couldn't express it the way they wanted to, right? Like, dad loves adrenaline sports, right?
And,
like, mom was a flight attendant.
Nature and shit, like, travel.
Yeah, so I think that, like, it's always been in our home, but I think the vigor to actually, like, set aside other shit, right? Like I'm not going to go to that, for me, like, I'm not going to go to that concert. I'm going to go buy a plane ticket to Colorado and go hiking.
Yeah.
I think that, like, it kind of just fueled both of us to look for adventure more because it feels safe and it feels familiar.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid theory. I do think the escapism, I think, is like a pretty realistic option for sure. And now thinking back, and like in high school, I was always really busy with shit. Like, always juggling a bunch of extracurriculars and friends and shit like that. That had to have been escapism for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you wanted to come home. Like, I certainly didn't.
Yeah, I think because then, I mean, you still went to like a cool creative like high school, but I think my escapism then turned into touring, which was travel of a different type. It was a lot of survival. And, and then even just like, I think following that and then into now, I have this like constant hunger for new information. And I think my brain got so used to like stimulation for sure. And I don't know how to chill. I don't know how to just like veg.
We weren't allowed to.
I don't like that I'm that way. I'm
we
really
literally
working
weren't
on it.
allowed to. You know, like on one hand, it was like, oh, you're relaxing? Let me find a fucking chore for you to do. Because, respectfully, mom's, like I think that her anxiety kind of about how she was feeling or the house was like, she couldn't sit still. So, like...
Totally, yeah.
It felt uncomfortable for us to sit still, right?
Totally.
Even though we were children, right?
Right.
Or, like...
go outside or something, like, we're not
or dad would be like, go stack the the rocks for my business, right? Like we were
Yeah.
like as children we were constantly working. Like go pull all the weeds in the garden that your father and I built for ourselves and go take care.
Yeah.
Like we were always told to be doing things, right? Like I remember as a kid being woken up at midnight cuz I forgot to fill water bottles and she'd be like, "No, this needs to be taken care of." Like there was no chill.
Dude, I forgot we filled water bottles.
We filled water bottles,
forgot
and if we didn't do them, it would be like 1 a.m. and Mom would be like, "Wake up, bitch!"
Dude,
like fill the
let's
water
fucking
bottle.
unlock some shit.
Yeah, like we were children. Kyle, we were children. You and I are 4 years apart, and I remember doing that at like 6 or 5. We were children, and we were always held responsible to do adult tasks. And so I literally think as adults, we have no fucking chill. Like Joe literally is always like, I need to horse tranquilize you to get you to do something that you enjoy. Like
Dude,
it's literally
yeah.
painstaking.
Totally.
I've been waking up at 3 a.m. because of the jet lag. And literally Joe will wake up at 6 because he'll notice like a light's on or something. And he'll be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I've already put in 3 hours of work this morning." Joe will be like, "Can you fucking calm down? Like, can you not do that?"
How do you? So what helped? I mean, I could see this Buddhism helping, because I guess you'd have to be mindful about the feeling to have to do something.
Yeah, you have to be like,
then
you
let it
have to
go.
set it aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a big struggle for me, and I don't like that I feel like that, because Sadie has no problem just like chilling out and watching some TV or
No, I have to be productive. Or if I'm not
productivity
productive,
for sure.
if I'm not productive, maybe you have this. It's like 4 hours later, you're like, or the next day, you're like, "God, I could have made some money, or I could have done something
Guilt.
like useful if I hadn't have watched." Yeah, the fucking guilt that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I definitely think this is why we're the same. I think like you and I were traumatized in very different ways because we were old enough apart in different ways, right?
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
So I was a child in moments where you were a bit older. But aside from that, like I think that's why emotional developmentally, not to like throw this around like a trophy, but like I have a literal behavioral disorder diagnosis where you do not, right? So I just think it's like we were traumatized in the same ways or very similar ways repeatedly. But the difference is that when I was 6, you were 10. Mm-hmm. When so like just education wise, where we prioritized our emotions and how mature we could be. So we literally just like internalized it differently. And I think that's why we were at odds with each other for so many years. But I think that's now why as adults, like we've both gotten in therapy, we both have their lives figured out, we're separate and we can figure out our boundaries. I think that's why we are like akin pretty much.
Uh-huh. Tell me your thoughts on this, that trauma feels like it like scars you or like stamps a part of your psyche in time at whatever age it happens at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, in
perhaps
EMDR,
you got some actual like scientific shit with that, but like I've been thinking about that because it feels like whatever the traumatic experience was at whatever age, your part of your psyche is like stuck back there. It can't can't fucking move. It's like this fucking string, and your forever part of that brain is 16. It's fucking whatever. It's 4.
It's called parts work.
Parts work. And
we do it in EMDR.
Okay.
And
with EMDR.
So a couple thoughts. Yeah, I know.
I've never done it, but I've heard.
Behavioral disorder. I needed to do it or I probably would have killed somebody by now, to be honest. Not joking. I was not well for quite a while there.
You're doing great now.
Anyways, I'm doing great now. But like sometimes when I listen to like documentaries on like Ed Kemper, I realize how close I was to like being a danger to society. Anyways.
It's Space dust.
Just throwing that out there casually.
No, you're speaking
anyways.
to it vulnerably. It's honest. It's fucking. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good.
So parts work. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Parts work. So parts work is like there's an idea where you are always your many selves, your many parts, right, of ages.
Uh-huh.
But there are moments, literally, they use like the idea of being stuck, right? Like you'll be having an emotional reaction to something. Say something like triggered you.
Yeah.
Literally, my therapist will be like, let's talk about this. And I'll be like, I'm feeling really blech about this thing. And she'll be like, okay, like close your eyes. How old do you feel? And if I close my eyes and just think about how I'm feeling, my brain tells me how old I am. I don't need to question it. My brain will just be like,
knows.
I think you're 4.
Yeah.
I feel 4. And there is directly related trauma to that age that makes you feel or think that way. Like, even if it's like, Sadie made me a PB&J, but she made it wrong, and I'm upset about it, but rationally, I don't know why the fuck I'm upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Close your eyes. How old do I feel? And
7.
then, yeah.
I just remembered this isn't a real thing.
Right.
I thought you had the answer.
No, I was like, wrong. When you were 4, I made you a shitty PB&J. Yeah, no. Like, close your eyes. How old are you? Okay? And it's information. And then normally with your therapist, if you're doing EMDR, you like focus on that age. And it's so wild. I know we've talked about EMDR before, but like your brain tells you what's wrong. Like I remember one time we were do you remember there's that really fucked up summer at the cabin?
Yes.
And yeah, I don't even need to go
There's
into
only
detail.
one fucked up summer at the cabin, and it's that one.
One really fucked up summer at the cabin.
We'll crack
And
that
you
one
and
open
I-
another time.
And you got me, and we hid.
Yeah.
Okay, I was explaining this moment to my therapist, and I was telling her, and I kept
Interesting.
and she was like, what's going on? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, you're like moving around a lot. I'm like, I'm sorry. And I was like, hold on. She was like, what are you feeling? And I was like, I'm just like really itchy all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on. I think I might be having like an allergic reaction. And she was like, no, you're not. You're telling the story. And I was like, no, I know I'm telling the story, but I don't know why. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm so itchy. And she was like, Melanie, what were you just talking about? And I was like, Kyle came and got me, and we were like hiding in the woods. And then she was like, you were hiding in the woods, hiding in the bushes. And I was like, yeah, I remember like the sticks like scratching me.
Wild.
And I remember being so scared. And I remember like the leaves, like the oil, like making my skin itchy and being nervous that there was poison ivy, but I wasn't as scared of the poison ivy as I was of what would happen. And so I was like 23 having a physical reaction to a memory that was traumatizing, right? So we realized that was like my old part, and I was upset and dealing with this, and my body was still physically feeling this sensation, right? So like when you feel like you're stuck, you are. Like some part of you in the past is like, hey, I'm not okay. And even though it's like might seem really trivial, you have to like acknowledge it. Like pretty much if you want to try self-healing, the steps are think about how old you are, identify maybe like why you feel that way. And if you can't, you're literally just supposed to like sit with yourself, and you're supposed to be like, hey, past self. It's very woo-woo, but it works. Yeah. Hey, past self, what's wrong? And then it doesn't always make sense. They're not like, I got hit by a car this one day. Sometimes they're just like, I feel scared. I feel really quiet. I feel unsafe. And then you have to literally be like, can you tell me why you feel that way? And you just listen to whatever comes out of their mouth. And sometimes they say things that make sense. Sometimes they don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Literally, like your own self-conscious will be like, I don't want to talk about it. Like it's really fucking weird. And then you just have to be like, okay, like I know you're feeling scared, or I know you feel like you're not loved right now. Like you have to like acknowledge whatever they're feeling. And then you literally go, as your adult self, you say like, I care about you. I really want to help. Like, if they tell you what's wrong, you say, I know that was a really scary moment and you shouldn't have had to go through that. And I will protect you now. Like, it sounds so cheesy, but that's literally like, I have healed so much trauma just by like being my adult self and thinking about what a past self is upset about. Like, it's insane, the wonders it can do. And then the final thought on this is that there is directly linked, like, for instance, if somebody has an issue with like self-image, that's usually also like parts work, but it indicates what age they were most threatened, right? Mm-hmm. So like there's a psychological table, you could probably look it up, but it's like what some of your, if you list off what some of your biggest insecurities are, sure. Right? Like, I hate myself. I don't like how I look. I don't think anybody thinks I'm important, or I don't ever feel heard. And there's this psychological table where those values, if you're feeling them as an adult, it will tell you were 5 when your trauma happened. Is it like a
developmental hierarchy type thing?
Yes, because as your brain develops, you hold different things of value, right? Like if you're a child, right. Your world is your world. You can't conceptualize other people being in it, right?
You learn, you figure that out in a certain order.
Right. So if you fucking feel like you don't mean anything and you want to kill yourself, but that's something like, that's like a core value. Maybe you're not like depressed enough that you're killing yourself right now, but it's always been like this aching feeling inside of you that you're like, I feel worthless and like nobody listens to me and like I'm not valuable. That has to do with a trauma you experienced around like 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
It's really crazy, like the math, the science they've done on it. It's insane. It's really wild.
Dude, I didn't know the like specifics of that, but it sounds, I mean, just, I want to say cool, but
it's cool.
I mean, it is kind of cool. Like, okay, thought I just had. Do you want to psychoanalyze me right now on the spot? Because
I'll try.
Tell me why.
I've been in therapy since 4th grade, so give me a shot.
And you've done more of it than me. Like I've done a fair amount, but it hasn't been as, I don't know what you'd call that, like academic or like.
I've been intensive therapy.
Yeah,
I've been in intensive therapy. Yeah,
mine's been all over. I like in when I was living in Nashville, it was like more focused on music. I had a specific music therapist who's familiar with the industry, so it's like dealing with that sort of stuff. And then, but yeah, this stuff is like fascinating to me. But I have this like ongoing joke or bit with myself that I'm 24.
Yeah,
and it's always like, oh, I just feel like I'm 24 every day. I'm 24 in my brain. I'm a 24-year-old, and I probably fucking act like a 24-year-old. Like, this probably tracks. So why?
I will be honest. Can I say something without it meaning to be offensive?
Yes.
I have, like, in our adult timeline, between the two of us, I feel older than you.
I think so. I think you definitely have a
like,
more,
I mean, no offense. But there are times when I'm like,
I'm not offended
I feel
at
like
all.
I'm so much older than my brother.
No, I feel like you've had your shit together a little longer.
I kind of like, again, respectfully.
You don't have
like
to say
we were traumatized in similar and like different ways.
Yeah,
I was fucked up by both of our parents, like extensively. And again, I know you went through shit that I don't understand or know, and I know I went through shit that you don't understand or know. I would have been a serial killer had mom not put me in therapy in 4th grade. Like, I think I literally, like, something with, like, I was not okay. And there are times when I've done so much work and I look at you, I love you. And I'm also just like, man, that guy just seems like he's having such a good time. Like, he doesn't understand, like, the brutal, disgusting, horrible hellhole of, like, wanting to hurt yourself and others. And I just really love that. And you just seem like so carefree and young. And I'm just like a gnarled old woman.
Okay.
That like
Oh God, I'm so glad I asked you this. Okay, because you want to know, let me hit you with this. I think because I'm more of an existential dread type. While I might come off carefree and it's all hunky dory, I have the existential weight of what's the fucking point?
absolutely no, Kyle. I don't know if you thought that was buttoned up, but it wasn't.
No. But it's so funny how I guess I'd come across, despite the fact that I don't feel. See, the joke's that I'm 24, but I don't feel carefree like a 24-year-old. I feel like no, maybe we're getting into it now. I feel like I'm trying to live with the energy of a 24-year-old, because I think when I was that old, I had a lot more like optimism or something. Like I wasn't so weighed down by the existential dread of just
keep going with that. Where were you when you were 24?
College, right? For sure.
Eau Claire?
I don't.
Because I graduated. Normally people graduate by the age of 21.
What's the quick math on that? Oh no, so you're right. I wasn't. So I was living. God, I don't want to do math right now.
Well, I mean, some things are hard.
Here, I'm gonna. Some things are hard. Okay. Okay, let me do the math on this. Okay, so.
Okay. Yeah.
2015. I was playing in the Millennium. Where was I living in 2015? I was probably living in Hudson, because I graduated.
You were living in
I graduated in 2014, and then we lived in
near
Hudson
downtown,
for a year.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was in college. I was like midway through college. That sounds right.
Yep.
Yeah, you were living in the Hudson house.
Yep, and I think we had just. Yeah, we had. We're on to something. Okay, hold on. Hold on, we're going to do this thing. We'll do it live.
I'm going to heal you.
All right. Uh-huh. And I think at that point, it was like the very peak of, holy shit, we might do this as a band. I think is realistic. 2014,
you guys were doing really well.
2014 was like a very optimistic year. We're like, holy shit, people like our stuff. We got our early shows. This is my second run at being in a band. We're like, I know more this time.
Yeah.
I'm more experienced. We got good songs. We have some fans already. We've just fucking started. We went our first tour. Holy shit. Next year, 2015. Oh, wait, hold on. I hurt my back in 2015.
Oh my God. Were we working out at my gym?
No, not at your gym. That was after I'd hurt my back.
Okay. But I remember.
Holy shit.
You were robbed.
Holy shit.
You were robbed of the shit that made you feel.
Yo,
this back injury, dude, this back injury's been plaguing you your whole life. Like, this has been so debilitating for you in so many ways.
Yes, dude. And I don't know if we've talked about this, but like, I fucking know that my psychological health has been tied to my obstacle with my back. I've known that. And I think part of it is a confidence thing. That's obviously been and you've broken your back, right? Broken?
Yep, broken.
How are you doing with that in general right now in life?
Totally great. Actually, I had a really strong back, so I healed perfectly.
I have not overcome that thing, and I know there's something tied to my psyche, and I don't know how to overcome it.
Well, I saw it with you. You literally, because here's the thing, mobility. So when I broke my back, I had this moment, right, where I was laying on the ground after my fall, and I thought, holy fuck, I might be paralyzed.
Yeah.
And there was a moment of shock where I couldn't fucking move. And I thought, I'm paralyzed. And ever since I had that thought, laid there for 10 minutes convinced that my life was forever altered, and then rolled myself over and wiggled my toes and stood up, speaking of like value and where we place value and meaning, I have always, every Thanksgiving, everything, I just thank fucking God for my mobility. My mobility, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't travel. If I didn't have the comfort in my body, I wouldn't feel comfortable to do half the shit I do, to bike extensive miles, to do like anything, right? Like my mobility is huge in my identity. And I am not you, but I noticed when you had your back injury, you were handling it the best you could, but like it wasn't getting better. I noticed the feelings about yourself and what you were capable of. Like you had a major decline.
Dude, it tanked, man.
So bad.
My confidence and it's like it fucked me up. And like I was trying so hard to deal with it and fix it. And I'm sure there's a lot of other shit going on at the same time with us trying to be a band and be successful and me managing that. I couldn't figure it out. I still feel like I can't figure it out. I don't know what I'm supposed to do to get better.
Well, I think at this point you might just have to like release that hope, right? You have to build on top of it, not fix it.
What do you mean release the hope?
You're like, I don't know what to do to get better. I don't think at this point it's about getting better.
It's about
coming to terms, like radically accepting where you're at and then building on top of that. I don't think you can ever get back. At this point, it's been years, right? You can't get back. Like when you say get better, I guess to me it implies that you're going to be fixed again. That you're never going to have a back issue again.
Well, maybe not like fixed as in never, like it never happened. But I mean, in the sense that you have recovered from your injury and you are living a good life where it doesn't.
Yeah, but I recovered in 3 months.
Yeah. So you're saying that recovery is not like that type of recovery is no longer possible?
No, I guess I'm not saying that. I guess so. Maybe it's hard for me too because I haven't experienced what you're going through, right? So in my mind, if I were going through what you were going through, and my hope was to still get all of my like mobility and comfort back, and it had been this many years, I would feel like I have to stop hoping for that, but instead think about what I am capable of doing and master those things. Right? And again, I'm not you. I know that actually recently you've made some of the best progress you have made. So I don't want it to be like you should give up, because clearly I don't know. I was just very lucky. My injury was very different than yours. But I guess like I don't know. It just struck me that you said like get better or like get or heal, right? Because in my mind it's not about healing anymore. It's about like radically accepting where your body's at, because we are in vessels that are aging and always going to decease, continuing to do maintenance to like make sure it doesn't get worse, which you do. You like work out and you're strong and you take such good care of yourself.
Yeah, but I'm not strong. Like I don't feel strong.
You don't feel strong? Not
at all.
Oh. You do so much hard work though, like as far as like going to the gym,
that's why it's so frustrating, because I mean, I've talked about this. My entire life changed when that happened.
Yeah.
And it sent me honestly down a great path of self-care and health and all this shit that I value a lot in my life right now that I don't know. I mean, I think because I heard it in the gym, and that was me literally getting into it. And I think that was a huge, when you said earlier that I was robbed, like not to sound dramatic, but I think that's how I felt. Because
absolutely.
I was literally Googling how to be confident. And I found, people say, go to the gym, work out, take care of yourself,
We're
and
like, I
build
fucking did
confidence.
that.
And so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I found this thing called Bony to Beastly. It was a workout program. I'm like, I'm a bony guy. I'm looking up body types, ectomorph, endomorph, all this bullshit. I'm like, that's me. I need to do that. Okay, yeah. Then I go to the gym, and like within the first few months, I hurt my back, and then I was just naive. I didn't know how to take care of it. I was also going on the road, which is just terrible recovery.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm working this like physical labor job where I'm just making the injury worse. Like it's just like bad. So like, yeah, you're right. I think I got robbed of the life I thought I was about to create for myself.
Yeah, I think that's like exactly the appropriate word. Right?
Yeah, it sent me down this thing, and like I think it got me closer to spirituality probably, and just like this like connection, because then it's like became about the connection of your mind with a lot of because that's a traumatic experience, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I know so much of it is tied to like what's going on up here.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm like, I still believe that I can recover and get to a point where I feel strong and healthy. And that there isn't so much of like a tie to it. But I guess that's maybe what this is about. It's like I have to accept that I was robbed, but that's okay because it got me here.
Yeah, I mean, you probably don't even have to. I mean, if we want to nitpick, right? I guess I just say this all the time to people. Like, it doesn't even have to be okay, right?
Okay.
Like, you were robbed, and that's fucking shitty, right? Like, this is your life, and also like aiming to like if you're Batman, right? Like somebody robbed someone, and Batman's like, I'm gonna go get it back. Right? Like, that's not a productive way to move on. However, I will say that...
Yeah, because I can't get it back. End of the day, can't get it back. It's gone now. That was then.
You can take care of yourself, as you've been doing, right? Because you've been trying to get better.
Yeah.
And you can use the tools that you've now found in that to do what you can with whatever limitations, even if they're small now, that you have.
Uh-huh.
But, like, it's gotta suck to remember what was and what isn't.
Uh-huh.
And I think for the rest of our lives, that is what aging is.
Oh, yeah, that's
having something
heavy.
happen to you and remembering what was and what isn't. And I mean, you didn't give yourself a gift. This shitty thing happened to you, and you are the healthiest you've ever been because you've been trying to take care of yourself and you've been trying to reverse the damage. I don't know if you know this, but a huge part of me being on my health journey, like the reason, Kyle, like remember I lost a ton of weight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember we were making dinner in my house post-college, probably 2016, 2017, and you were telling me about macros.
I remember
right?
that.
Like you had your back injury.
Yeah.
You were telling me about macros. And that conversation is literally why I became paleo.
Why
like
was it so impactful at the time?
I was so miserable. Like I had just started my intensive therapy for my personality disorder, and I hated myself, and I saw you doing shit to try and be better. And I was like, I want to be fucking better. I'm tired of hating myself. And I don't know how to do this. And even before you got sick, or not sick, but injured, you're sick.
Sickly
like,
boy.
Sickly skinny man.
You bony, you'll never be beastly, you child.
Gangly piece of shit. like even before that, like you were into running, right?
Yeah.
And like I tried to run. I tried to get into it. I wasn't fucking good at this, right? Like these were things that I saw you doing, and I was like, well, Kyle's doing it, and I'm also kind of a gangly fuck. Like maybe we can get stronger. And I remember even through your injury, like you would post photos of like how much, like even be it small or skinny, like your muscle growth. And that was like huge for me to see. I was like, because we're genetically like the same, right? Like we are so different, but you are the only person who is similar to me.
Wow,
And
it's very interesting to hear that was impactful, because it's like,
well, like literally, I go to the gym now, like all the time. Like, I don't know if you've seen my new muscle mommy, like, bod, but like,
you look very healthy.
dude, I'm doing so good.
You
Look at
have
this
to be
thing.
healthy to do the traveling and the shit you do. You do fucking badass shit. Nice.
Okay, anyways, but like my biggest fucking fear is deadlifting and fucking my back up.
Welcome to
That
the
is
club, my guy.
Literally, like, I am terrified about my back because I have broken it, but I think about you every single time I'm at the gym.
Really?
Like, your injury has changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah, like, I know that it's, like, obviously changed your life. And I can't believe we've never talked about this, but
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Well, I'm glad to have
you
been of
are
service.
literally like the catalyst for me taking care of myself.
Wow.
You're the reason that I started doing paleo. Not that you were, but we had this conversation and you pretty much were just like, you just got to commit and this is how you do it. And I was like, okay. And I go to the gym and I work out, but I'm so careful and I'm mindful about like what I'm doing rather than just throwing weights around, because I think about you every time I'm at the gym, and I think about how would I feel if I had to put in the work that Kyle put into his body. Like, I literally think about that like every day.
I feel like, was that almost kind of what, I don't want to say we were like, fucking like reconnecting, but like kinda?
No.
Is that
Okay.
around the same time? I felt like, because
Kind of.
I had been gone at school, right? And then I moved back.
Yeah.
So like we could actually see each other more conveniently.
You know what happened? So this is a thing Mom told me, and I think that this is true, but you can correct.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh, am I here? Am I here? Oh,
Hold
God.
on. Space dust
Let it-
incoming.
I've always been doing cool shit.
You have, yeah.
Michael and I were dating, which, love that man.
Remember
We're still
Michael?
friends.
Yep. He liked metal.
Oh, he was just over here the other day. Joe met him. Joe like loves Michael too. It's awesome.
That's dude, that is some
Michael and I
healthy
were
ass
dating.
grown up shit. Good
He's
for
so
you.
wonderful.
Well,
he
all
saw me
y'all
because
just,
yeah.
yeah.
When
that's it.
when I was dating Michael, that was my most unwell. Michael saw me in a fucking real bad way, and he still stuck with me, and I was the one who broke up with him, which is fine. Like, he did not deserve me in the way where, like, I was not well.
Yeah.
He needed better. And what was the point of this? What were we saying right before this?
Well, I was saying reconnecting. You said something about Mom told you something, or Mom. You said Mom's name.
Yes.
Mom.
When I was unwell,
your
but
fucking
still
mom.
with Michael, Michael and I would do rad shit, right? Like, he
Cool
was
shit.
really instrumental of me getting into cycling, right?
Yep.
So I think we went on a bike packing trip, and Mom drove us to Hastings for us to set out to then bike up pretty much to do what is now the MS 150. It's like 150 miles.
Yeah.
And we bike packed that, self-supported, self-sustained. And we came back, and that was a thing we did. And Mom picked us up like several days later, and then we went home. And it was around that time I like posted some photos about what I was doing. And apparently, this is what Mom told me, you called her and you were like, so did Melanie go like camping or something? And Mom was like, yeah, she like biked up, did this thing. And you were like, that's fucking cool. And Mom was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then you were like, I feel like I don't know what the fuck she does. And Mom was like, yeah, I think your sister's like pretty different, but she's up to some cool stuff. She's an adult now. And I think like she told me that you pretty much were like, yeah, I guess I don't actually know much about her. And you literally like called me like several days later and you were like, hey, what was this bike trip thing you did? And I remember getting this phone call from you and being like, what do you want? I was like, why?
Why are you talking?
Like, why do you care? Because I've always, like, up until that point, I was just your fucking little sister. I was Kyle, the hot kid in school's little awkward sister. Like, literally every fucking woman at my whole educational career in Hudson, Wisconsin was like, oh my God, you're Kyle's sister?
Dude,
He's so hot.
Can we talk about this? Because this plagues me. It's always, the fucking line, you're Kyle Featherstone. It's like, dude.
I'm sorry that you were the most popular boy in school.
I don't think I was. I didn't feel like it. I don't know. Okay, like 2 years ago, I was at a wedding.
Feel like it when you are.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. But so I'm at this wedding, and it's someone from my grade who got married, and he had younger brothers who were at our school, like a year younger, and then like 3 years younger or something, right?
Okay.
And then so we're there hanging out. The wedding's done. Everyone's like hanging out in like the hotel or whatever, and one of them's like, I'm talking to him and he goes, something along the lines of like, dude, I never would have thought Kyle Featherstone. We're hanging out. And I'm like, the fuck does that mean, dude? Like,
like you were attractive, you were nice, and you were fucking smart and good at art. Like if you're not gay, you're a catch.
Well, everyone thought I was gay too, so pick a lane.
People never pick a lane, right?
Yeah,
like even today, like no, that's what it was. Like every time I'd go to class, a teacher that had you'd be like, "Oh, you're Kyle's sister," or like people in my grade would be like, "Oh my God, like Kyle's your brother." Like today, there was this girl that showed up. There was this girl that showed up at the brewery. She had a fucking feather shirt or something.
Wait, I've never made a feather shirt.
I don't know. She was wearing some sort. Drop that in the thing. She was wearing something that was clearly feather branded. Something.
Did it?
She had like.
Did it have this?
Yes, it said like feather.
Was it a bandana?
And it was when you were. It was when you were in town to do like a show at the Sky Theater.
Oh wait, so not today. Didn't you just say this happened to you today?
I mean like.
No, you mean in life today?
Sorry, my doorbell just rang. Hold on.
Oh.
Am I allowed to go see what this is?
I mean, yeah, you have a life.
Hold on for a second.
Oh my God. I can't believe. I'm so glad. I don't even know how to make words right now. I fucking love conversations like this. Who needs a therapist? I mean, everyone, but this is therapy. I can't believe I just cracked the 24-year-old code. That's some deep-seated psychological shit. Oh my God. This needs to, maybe this should be the trauma cam. No, that sounds bad. I mean, what did we say? Truth cam? We said truth cam. This is truth cam.
Sorry, that was.
Oh, hello?
I needed that. That was very important.
So I've just decided that this is called the truth cam, so you look at it when you're telling the truth.
If you're telling the truth.
Yeah. So you're saying that today in life, like these days, it happens?
These days. Okay. It was probably a year or two ago, right? You were doing like a show at like the Skyview or something.
2021.
This woman shows up at the brewery that I work at. Somehow she had something on.
Had there been a bandana, that's the only thing, or a pin, a small pin. That's all.
Maybe that's what it was.
Okay.
But literally, like, she was wearing your merch. She was wearing something. And I was like, oh, are you going to the show for Feather? And she, am I Stardust?
You're Bear.
Space Dust.
Stardust. Space Dust.
Space Dust. She literally was like, oh my God, yeah, like, I like can't wait. Like I've listened, I've been following him since he like started, and I'm so excited, and I love like some of the other people that are there. And do you listen to like EDM? And I was like, yeah, I think his music's great. And then she was like, oh my God, like, Dev, you've been following him too? And I was like, yeah, like since we were children. And she was like, I don't. And I was like, he's my brother. And she was like, oh my God, like, he's like so cute. This is so cool. Like she just fangirled the fuck out like immediately. Like, this is the reaction you give people that don't even know you, but are just like your fans.
Weird.
Yeah, it happens to this day. People are like, holy fuck, Kyle Featherstone? I don't even elicit that response. People at the bar are like,
see, I tell everybody you're
Mel
cooler
here?
than me.
And then, well, that's good.
Because
I
you've
feel
been
like we're
doing
just
cool
gonna...
shit for quite a while.
Maybe I'm like compensating.
There's definitely, I think we both probably have a little bit of a complex of...
Yeah, probably.
What would you call it? Like, need to... not perfectionism, but like affirmation or like performance. There's a level of that, like, hey, I can do this.
I just want to do enough shit that when I die, I don't feel like I missed out.
I mean, that's, yeah, I guess that's something else. But
back to the story. Pretty much, like, you called me and you were like, what's up? And I was like, why? And then I was telling you what I did, and you were like, that's fucking cool. And you literally never left me alone from that moment.
I think I don't leave you alone? I feel like I'm not.
No, like, you know what I mean. Like you care about what I'm doing. Where before I would do shit and you were like, I don't know, I'm doing my shit, right? Like I'm in my lane, I'm focused.
Totally. I still am a little guilty of that, I would say. Like, I feel like I don't, I mean, well, past few years crashed on a jungle planet excluded, obviously.
I mean, we're not codependent, so.
No. Because I always feel a little bit of guilt about my lack of presence with family.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Because it's always because I've been a little bit too like nose to the grindstone. Because as we've discovered, we have an unquenchable hunger for productivity.
Perfection is in our blood.
Yeah, and escapism. So like,
yeah.
Sorry, y'all. I'm working on it. I'm glad to know I did that. To be honest, I don't really remember. I mean, I remember like the gist of that time and talking to you, but the way you remember that conversation is obviously more impactful than the way I remember just calling you up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I never say this to hurt your feelings because I love you, but like,
no, I know.
I literally, when I was in Thailand, I went with my best friend Renee. You've met her before.
Yeah, I remember.
We did
her.
like a color run with you, but you've always been just very hands off in my life. Like whatever I want to do, you're not like, you can't fucking do that or you shouldn't date that. But like, right, you've never like told me what to do.
For sure.
Which is great. Thank you. But literally, like when we were in Thailand, Renee was like, yeah, I remember meeting. Like I was telling her something about you, and she was like, I remember meeting your brother. Like, are you guys good? And I was like, what are you talking about? I love him. And she was like, yeah, but like, he was so dismissive of you. And I was like, oh yeah, like pretty much pre-2015, like he didn't give a fuck what I was at. Like, that's just like how it was. And my friends noticed. Like, we would do shit and my friends would be like, yeah, I remember your brother like not really caring. And it would be in like single interactions with you. But I think it was just because you were doing your own shit. But for me, I was so used to you just like doing your own shit that I was like, yeah, he and I, we like know each other, but like we're not.
I think like, for me that I've noticed, and perhaps I'm sure this was more a problem then than it is now, but it's still for me now is because of this feeling I have of needing to be productive and do shit, as we've discussed, is I can't chill. I can't be present. So when I'm like around people or like there's where a lot of people would small talk, it's so hard for me to get into small talk and like really give someone that feeling like I care.
Right.
Because I'm just, I can't, it can't be that, I'm just like not present enough to care.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like really hard for me. And I worry sometimes that it comes off to people as, maybe arrogance or like, dismissive and like whatever, or I don't know, but like couldn't be further from the truth. And like,
no, yeah. I
also have no problem being quiet too, because I don't want to engage in surface level small talk that I feel I'm not being honest about. So I'd rather just be like, be there and it's okay to be quiet. And whereas
I think
sometimes
too,
people need to
like,
just talk all the time.
this take of who you are now is also just like very developed, right? Like when I was in college, when this was like a thing, like I was newly graduated from high school, like I was a kid, right? And I was still your kid sister. Like I was like a fucked up personality disordered like kind of mess that couldn't handle being around my own family, right? Like I would just kind of like freak out, wasn't good with boundaries. Like I was still like just like this emotional being, right? And so I think that like number one, you're the older sibling, right? Like you have your life in a very different place than mine, even if I'm in college, right? Like I'm not an adult. So I think it was probably hard for you to feel like, yeah, I'm super invested in whatever this is, Melanie, right? But on top of that, it's just like, I'm losing my thread again. You know, I think it's very natural for people in our age gap to just like you're like, why should I care, right? You know, versus now it's like you do have a lot on your plate, or you have a lot that you're doing and focusing on or feeling awkward about, or like you do struggle to connect with things like that, where I think always like when I was younger or before, it was just literally like we just socially were on two different playing fields.
For sure.
Completely, you know. But it seems to be like even with like your awkwardness that you're expressing you feel now, like people still love that. I think that I have social anxiety,
It's not
even
like
though
awkwardness. It's just like my brain is somewhere else. So
okay.
I'm not present. I'm not like,
You're thinking somewhere else.
yeah, always thinking.
Okay.
Always thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mistook that for how I feel. I often just get like social anxiety, and it's hard for me to integrate myself into the conversation because I'm thinking about like all the things I'm like doing wrong. But you're literally just like thinking about other work and or self-improvement and or like almost like daydreaming about your life
Kind of. Yeah.
a little bit, like elsewhere.
Yeah. Or stewing on my life.
Rumination.
Rumination. Not great. It's
Yeah,
not great,
no.
Bob. Yeah.
Not great, Bob.
I agree. And I think this has become a theme. Okay, right? Like I keep having these conversations about confidence and how much it's tied to like trauma and youth and like vulnerability and being being who you feel you are deep down without needing to censor it. And when we talked previously and you mentioned that like moment you had where you realized something clicked and you realized that everyone's like this young version of themselves, no matter how old they are. And like how true that really is. And I keep like, I've been trying to like get 24-year-old me back, right? Like,
Right. Circling back. Yes. Is that just, you think because you felt so powerful before you got injured?
Probably like, and fucking bring this fucking like, you're Kyle Featherstone, right? Like there was a certain level of like expectation perhaps that I felt like I had. And while I wasn't like, yeah, well, I'm fucking Kyle Featherstone, but there's got to be some level of my subconscious was like, well, yeah, I guess they keep telling me I'm this guy, so I guess I'm going to do that.
Oh, for sure. I think that like naturally, excuse me, I think naturally when, even if you didn't choose it, right? Like I never saw this from you. I don't think anybody else would. You were never like vying to be the most popular kid in school.
Yeah.
But without a doubt, it was like you and Max Milanofi were like two of the most popular people in school.
Shout
right?
out,
Like everyone knew it.
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Hell yeah. Get it. Right? Like that comes with expectations even for yourself, even if you didn't ask for them.
Yeah, completely.
Right? And so you're like expressing that too, right?
Yeah.
Like I think even today, I don't think it's the same thing, but you've had this like drive to be successful.
Oh yeah.
Versus no one's ever expected very much from me. Like, honestly, and that's actually been like a relief, because the only thing I can do is fail myself. I can't imagine like feeling young and feeling like so many people like me and feeling like I have to, like, that's a great gift they're giving you, but also at what cost?
Well, right, especially
Right.
when you don't know how to like handle that and navigate.
Well, why do they
that.
like you in the first place? You're not doing anything. You're just, you know, and somehow that's set an expectation.
Well, so that's it then, right? Like why do they like you in the first place? Probably because I was being me, right?
Yeah.
It's high
Yeah.
school, it's early college. You're not fucked up enough. Like, I mean, we're obviously fucked up, but in other ways.
Other ways.
But I certainly felt more young and naive and a little bit more like just being myself than like worrying about being the wrong person, which feels like a commonality these days, is like everyone's so like aware of what's okay and what's not, and just having more psychological scars and all this shit. But like I was probably being more of me, and that's why. And I feel like that's why I'm like, because what in the years that followed, I definitely think there was a huge shift of like, no, you have to do this right. You have to be this. You have to make this type of song. This is what you do. These are the rules. This is how you play the game. You have to be more strategic about all this shit. Like, and we were analyzing like our posts, or like, is this good enough for the song? Or like, how does our promo look? Do we look cool? And like all of these like external pressures are setting in because of all these expectations, right?
Yep,
and because
as
I
it
don't
goes.
know how to, I wasn't aware of the fact that no, I just needed to be my fucking self. That's why. That's how I'm gonna be Kyle Featherstone, instead of basically being someone else. And I think that all culminated up to fucking landing on this goddamn planet where I was like, I'm like trying to be me, but I'm trying to be me through everyone else's lens, or what I think the expectations are being me is, instead of just connecting to the part of you that is you, that doesn't care. He's not worried. He's not trying to be famous. He's not trying to be successful. He's 24.
He's trying to be himself.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all we've ever tried to be. And it's always been a little bit of a struggle.
That's right.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's why I think you bringing that point up about how true that truly is about people being young. It's like, I've been just trying to brush the dust off, like get back to why I make songs in the first place. Why all that creative shit that I'm chasing through whatever lens of escapism that was, it's always something. It's always a project. It's a show. It's making music. It's making videos with my friends. It's, doing whatever. That's the creativity in real time. And I'm doing it because that's what young me was drawn to doing, instead of doing it for, it should go viral. It should be a successful track. It should be number one. It needs to be this. It needs to make money. It needs to whatever. It completely shapes your self and your perspective on all of it.
Do you want to try something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to close your eyes?
Should I use the truth cam?
Use the truth cam.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm scared.
That's right.
Can you get closer to your
We're
mic?
just gonna like this.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, this is now
Okay,
ASMR.
that's great.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I want you to think about this kind of running joke you've got, right? Like, I'm just 24. So picture, if you can, what 24-year-old Kyle looks like. Right? Like see him. Like, who's he telling you he is at that time? Mm-hmm. And you just see it in your head. Whatever comes up is right. You don't have to question it. Mm-hmm. And then I want you to ask him if, when he looks at you, how does 24-year-old Kyle feel when he looks at current Kyle? Anything is right, even if you don't know. That's okay.
I have this split answer of not shame, but like a little bit of disappointment, but then the other part
Okay.
of my brain that's been trying to practice gratitude is like, no, I am doing it. It just looks different than what I thought it would.
But is that second thought though? Is that adult Kyle or is that 24-year-old Kyle?
It's probably adult me. Yeah.
Okay. So ask if you can, 24-year-old Kyle, if he can be honest, what does he really want instead of what he's seeing?
From me now.
Yeah, like he looks at you. Maybe there's that feeling of just like surprise or shock or shame or whatever. But again, remember, he's younger than you.
Right.
But maybe ask him, well, what did you expect, right? Like what did you expect me to be?
Right. What did you think this was going to look like?
Yeah. What does he say?
I would say more, I want to use the word success, but that's vague because that's not specific. So like more money.
Okay, so he feels like
more notoriety and attention or what's the word for when people know who you are?
Okay. So that's how 24-year-old Kyle feels?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So what's his reaction if you tell him, who you are, right? You're like, well, I'm 30-some Kyle. And you tell him how you feel, like, I'm really proud of who I am. Like, if you told him how you feel about where you've come from, what does he say? Nothing?
I don't know. He
doesn't. Does he care?
I think he's a little indifferent.
He's just like, cool thing, bro.
He's like,
nice.
He's like, this is probably what it's like. He's like, okay, but I'm going to show you you're wrong, maybe, or like.
Oh, okay, so he's driven.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like, I'm going to do better.
A little bit blindly and naively.
Right.
Yep.
Can you notice how immature he might be in comparison to you right now? Like, does that seem like immaturity?
Totally, yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell him what is going to like level with him really quick? Be like, listen, like, I know you're really driven and these are the barriers, some of the barriers you're going to face, and it's going to be really tough. Like, how does he believe you? How does he react?
Maybe some disbelief, maybe I don't know, like I'm not buying it, or like.
Does he seem like, is it hard pills to swallow?
Probably.
He's like, nah.
I think so.
Nah.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of like, no, that's not me, or like, yeah, like, no, I'll be different, or like.
He was like, yeah, like that happened to you, but it's not going to happen.
Right,
to me.
I think so.
Yeah. Can you tell him that, and maybe this isn't what you want to tell him, but it seems like you are still proud of who 24-year-old Kyle was driven to be. Can you tell him that, and tell him that even if shit doesn't work out how you have experienced, that you are still going to be proud of what he does no matter what?
Hey, man, I know that you're really driven to accomplish a lot of things, and just know that no matter what you accomplish or don't accomplish, I'm going to be proud no matter what, because you work really hard and you're extremely driven, and that's a really admirable quality that a lot of people would be lucky to experience. So no matter what, just keep going, and I'll be proud. Did I do that well?
Yeah, I was going to say that was so good.
Okay.
Now, in whatever way you need to, you can vocalize it or not, just ask him if there's anything else you can do for him right now before you witness his grow up.
If there's anything I can do for him?
Yeah. Does he need anything from you? Is there anything that you're capable of doing for him to help support him?
Do you mean this in like like a metaphorical sense, or like a
No, literally, like,
do you
see
need
him.
money? Do you need like that?
No, like don't analyze it that much. Literally, like, see him in your head,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
You've had this nice conversation with him. Imagine him. Imagine how
Yeah.
old he is, how he feels.
Yeah.
And just literally, you don't even have to say this out loud. Just be like, do you need anything? Can I do anything for you? What does he say?
I think it's money. I think he thinks money's gonna help.
I mean, do you also currently feel like money will help you?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's a very real factor.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing we're going to do.
It was either money or wisdom. But I think.
Oh, there you go.
I think it'd be both. It'd be mentorship and money.
That's so interesting because I feel like those are still things that you hold very closely.
I do. I feel very strongly about that because I feel like all I ever really wanted was a mentor, and I never really got one. And
Can you
I
tell
try
him
to do that for as many people as I can in my life, and just share my knowledge or experience, because I empathize what it feels like to be trying to chase a dream or a passion and not really know what the fuck to do.
Mm-hmm.
And how much I guess I think it would be better if you had like that type of person.
Can you just, in your head again, we were having that good conversation with him. Can you briefly just tell him that? Be like, I see what you need. I'm going to give it to you. And then just let us know what is his reaction to you, this guy, offering him assistance with that. How does he feel?
Okay. Well, I know what you need. I'm going to give it to you. And I feel like I don't know. I think he's like okay, but maybe apprehensive.
Yeah. Like he's like, yeah, okay. How are you going to give me something that you're not even?
Yeah, or maybe a little bit of like, I don't need your help as much as I want someone to. I don't know if I felt at that time that I needed that help because I was very much like do it my own. But deep down, I think I really wanted the help.
Yeah. Okay, open your eyes.
Truth cam.
Truth cam. How did that feel to try?
That was kind of nuts.
Isn't it wild? Your brain talks to you.
That was for sure.
It's
especially
real.
if you don't second or like overdo it, you just kind of let it.
You're just like, well, what am I thinking? You're like, you don't know. Ask yourself.
What is the feeling? The feeling's the words.
It's so crazy to me when you ask yourself a question or you're like, I'm here to help you. And your own brain goes, sure.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
So parts work. We just did some parts work.
Okay.
Pretty much.
What's your analysis?
My analysis is I'm not surprised. This actually is kind of exactly what I expected.
Really?
Yeah, I think that you, like you said, you were very driven. You, like, really were in a spot where you felt like you were propelling yourself. And I think the world's fucking cruel. And I think that your young, your 24-year self is pretty immature, and that's to be expected, right? Like,
totally.
Even if we age, our ages and ourselves in the past do not always get that maturity, right?
Yeah.
So it's to be expected that he's like, yeah, kind of like, okay, old man, like, what are you going to offer me?
You're washed up now, like.
Yeah. Which is why, we kind of did the thing where we were like, hey, like, there are some barriers, and I'm going to love you even if you fail. Right? Not saying you will, but like, I'm here for you. And I think that like pretty much what you do is like this, you have information about why you feel the age you feel now and maybe the frustrations you feel, right? Like that frustration is the same frustration that he might have about like, well, it's just money that's my barrier, or it's just this that's my barrier. Nothing's in my way. Like if that's how younger you feels, of course you're going to feel frustrated because money's so hard to come by. Like damaging your back is a huge fucking barrier. The industry has all these expectations. These are all things that you learned and were very hard to deal with. And I think that you, if possible, if you can like, you're going to heal from this little thing we did, right? Like it's not going to fix you right now, but you're going to literally, you just received information from yourself about like a trauma that you didn't have before. And your younger self is going to see your older self like working with that now, learning about your own self, and it's going to help you parse out how you feel. Mm-hmm. And if there's a time you're feeling really 24 again, literally just do what we did. Like close your eyes, be like, hey, bud, like,
what do you need?
What do you need?
Yeah.
And he'll be like, I don't know, not you. Or he'll be like, I need to create this thing right now. Or I need to make something. Or I really need a fucking hamburger because I'm hangry and I'm pissed off. I don't know. You know, but like, literally the way you're going to like, I think, grow from I'm 24 and that's when I was successful and then my life kind of got flipped over is to bring your 24-year-old self into reality. Because honestly, he sounds like a little checked out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, it's that blind, just naive. Yeah,
optimism.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. And I think
a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, maybe. Like
absolutely. But also like shit was hard for us as kids. So like I don't fucking blame him for being a little jaded. Right. Like nobody will help me. I gotta just help myself.
For sure, yeah.
Right? And like that's something you can tell him too. Like if he continues with that attitude, you can be like, hey buddy, if you don't let people help you, you will not be able to help yourself.
Yeah.
And yes, maybe the people that should have helped us were incapable of helping us, but that's why I'm here. Like there might be a point where you are talking to your younger self and that's like the message you have to deliver. But literally you're going to do that. And like I had to do stuff like that with my younger selves. And it was literally like my therapist was like, I need you to give your younger self a hug. And literally sometimes my younger self would be like, don't fucking touch me. And that was okay, right? Like I would revisit them like half a year later and they would be in a different spot. They would have grown.
Yeah.
So, excuse me.
A big thing that I think I've like made some progress in coming to terms with is that like when you're younger, you romanticize a life that is only kind of possible at that point in time when you romanticize it. So how could you ever even have that life when it's in the future and things will never be like they are right now? So the whole time you do that, you're creating these expectations that just could, by the sheer nature of reality, never happen that way. And that's fucking fine because it can be even better. It can be different and that's how it's going to be. And like, that's been like a big thing of like just being like, it's never going to be how I thought it was. And that's actually how it's always supposed to have been. So like, just let it fucking rip, my guy.
That's so wise. I think that's excellent.
Yeah, I think that's a big, that's what I'd tell younger me. And I'd say, you know what else I'd say from the conversation? I thought this when we were truth camming. You said, fuck, I just distracted myself. No, about mentorship, helping him. Oh yeah, it's if I would have just kept being myself. That's the message. I'm like, just keep being yourself. Stop worrying. Don't worry about all these things you think you need to worry about that you think you have to do. That's what's going to get you successful, right? Like that's the message. That's what I've learned of everything. But like,
Yeah, he was saying money. You should have been like, fuck money. It's always going to be hard.
Yeah, you tried to do what you thought was the move you had to do.
Yeah.
That you were fucking not a hot shot about, but like you felt was superior to whatever washed up shaman knowledge I have.
Yeah.
And guess
Well-
what? You ended up washed up. No, that's the wrong
Here's
word.
the thing. If you can have that conversation with him, whether it's like now, we could be having the conversation with him right now, even though we're not doing the whole parts thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like you get him on board with being himself. That's like what you're actively doing.
Yes.
So there's no way you can be ashamed of yourself, of your 24-year-old self can no longer be ashamed of you if he realizes that you are doing the thing that will help him the most.
Right.
Right? So like that's how you're going to heal.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Fuck yeah.
that's kind of how I feel. Like the past couple of years of isolation and just
Leaning into
thinking
that.
and like you just have to kind of like sit with your thoughts, and having tools to sit with your thoughts the right way is definitely the way to do it. But like, I think so many people spend their time being distracted by so many different sorts of things. How could you ever think about why? Why do you feel that way? What do you think that means? Why? Like this whole conversation has been a lot of like why and like stuff, and that's so valuable. And I've what else do you do when you're fucking sitting on a planet and you just go, what? Why do I feel like this? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want to be?
Well, yeah, when you're stuck on
with
an
the me.
isolated planet, you could just be like, do I want to do this anymore?
I fucking
Or
could.
do I like what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Like, worth it?
I mean, I do. Perhaps it's noticeable, but like, well, I guess you did say that. Perhaps to who I was then to perhaps the last few years, it's like I feel some type of progress. I feel some type of difference. And even in the last couple years, I feel like I've really brushed some dust off. I mean, man, when I cracked open that old thing of Pokemon cards,
Oh my god!
holy shit, dude! I can't tell
it
you
your
what part
binder?
of me woke up again.
You had so many.
Yeah, past me really set me up pretty. I got cards that are worth like $500.
Your Crazy Bone collection.
No, those are long gone. I still have other cards. I had a card that was worth $1,000 right now. It was my favorite card. I didn't know that then, but it was one of my favorite Pokemon, Lugia. And I
God.
don't know where it is.
Oh no!
It's just, I don't know what I would have done with it. And that is a burden I now carry forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kept things pretty organized.
But like, Pokemon's a dumb example, but the reason I feel like I'm kind of like riding that horse is because it's like, I know it's so much younger me, and it's a little bit nerdy, a lot of it nerdy, and maybe it's a red flag for people, but that's like why I'm like, I can't be self-conscious about that.
Yeah.
The dumb shit I say when I turn a camera on and I blast a message into space and time, that's been an active work of me just being like, how about you just try and be yourself without thinking for like a little bit?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm a big proprietor of proprietor? I'm going to use the word.
Proprietorship.
I'm a big proprietor. Oh, god damn it. My lights keep going out. Woo. Of, hey, Google, turn on the light. Of like, if people don't fucking like me, I'm not an asshole. I'm pretty great. But like, if people don't like that, then I don't need them. Like, I literally don't. Like, I'm just going to do what I like. Maybe it's dorky. Maybe it's not. Maybe somebody thinks it's cool. Maybe somebody thinks I'm obnoxious. Like, if you don't like me, that's okay. I'm not saying like haters. I'm literally like, that's okay. You don't have to like me.
Yeah.
Like I don't need or want to be friends with people who don't like me. Like that just sounds exhausting. It's probably exhausting for you, right? To like
Well, I think
try and
24-year-old me definitely had a complex of need people to like me. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that was, I think part of that is, like parent shit. But then, like we're talking about, there's got to be this like social castration of like, you're good, you're cool, you're popular, you're going to do stuff. And I'm like, okay, so I need to be this guy. So people need to like me. And that just like, it got out of hand, I think. And
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, you're in an industry that is only successful off of enjoyment.
and that's what I was gonna say is like, I don't think I realized how much I was not mentally ready for that, or how that was gonna mess me up, and it just got to the point where I felt so weird. I don't even know what the feeling was. It was just dissonance. But yeah, it was like the number of things that's like, oh, that needs to be more engaging of a photo or a video. This needs to be a better top line. This needs to be a good enough song. This could be better. Change this. Do this. It's just the pressure. I clearly was not ready for it. As much as I thought I was, and like moving to Nashville and what I thought that meant, I don't think I really understood. Because, yeah, if 24-year-old me, I mean, that pretty much, I guess I wasn't 24, but like the same mindset that moved to Nashville, I think. He was like, no, this is what you do. But that's what people tell you you're supposed to do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, people also tell 18-year-olds to figure their life out, like it's just insane. Like realistically, our brains don't slow down development till about 27. So like your social pressures and the things that you do that craft like your mental morals and makeup, like really isn't solidified till like 27, 30, mid 30s. Like I think men actually do it slower than women. So I think it's even like 30 or 31 or something,
Especially
like,
then if you're trauma, right? So you got all these strings fucking
pulling you back. Yeah. And I think there's this I actually learned recently, so I can't remember if it's totally right, but I think there's something correlated to like being traumatized, and then that like development stuff takes even longer.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that part of your brain's stuck in whatever age it happened. So you got
yeah, like physically no, but like your mental emotional growth,
your perspective,
yes, right?
almost.
And so yeah, you have to do a lot more work.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like yeah, the idea of being, and I've literally said this to like Joe. I was like, I feel like it must be really difficult to be in a career like music, or we were talking about you, because it hinges on people liking you or what you're doing, right? And so like inherently, like you as a person, I know you just want to do what makes you happy. I know you want to craft stuff that like feels so true for you, but also you and I are entertainers. That's like part of what gives us life, right? And that also inherently thrives with, well, are people going to watch this? Are people going to enjoy this? Like, are people going to like, am I wasting my time?
Yeah, because that's
Like,
part of
do
the
I
show.
feel? Yes. Like, it's extremely difficult. I was literally telling him, I know that Kyle wants to very much be happy and wants to very much do what he loves. And I also think that it must be such a hill to climb up, to literally be doing what you love, but constantly met with criticism about whether or not you are worthy enough of being successful. Like, I feel that with film.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped doing film, is I was like, I'm fucking I've said this to you, I'm fucking exhausted of people telling me I'm not worth what I ask to be paid. But it's not that I'm not doing good work. It's just literally that they do not value it.
They don't
right?
see
Like,
the value
can't
in
value
it. Right.
Or they don't, it's not exactly their style because everyone's an artist, right? Like it's so hard to try and make your worth off of something that is opinion based. It's so hard to be an artist. Any artist feels this way.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult. Like, I constantly wish we were in another Renaissance, because like in the Renaissance, pretty much people were just like, I want art, you do art, I'll pay you to do art. Like everyone was just like, we have money and art is beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Like we had some weird shit that came out of the Renaissance period, but like people were paying for it. Like now it's not like that. It's like, well, you're not good enough, you know? And everyone's like depressed and anxious and no one can afford healthcare to get mental health help.
Yeah.
And you're just, you know, so like I literally like I think about you a lot. I don't know, maybe I spend too much time thinking about you, but like I literally am like, God, I really feel for, because at this point, you know, I've been on this train for like ages. I'm like, I'm fucking done being creative, like frugally, or not frugally, financially. Like I
Do
can't,
you,
like
do you say that
I'm
as
working,
a career or as like a creative?
oh, as a career. Like
Okay.
I currently have a project. This is not a project that I'm like, do or die, bitches. I'm like, no, I'm a bartender. And now I do this film thing.
Yeah.
Right? Where before I was just like, I'm a filmmaker. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be good at it. I'm going to be successful. I can't do it. All I want right now is to finish my current project, to sell my house and move into the fucking woods and work a shitty remote job that I care not about. And literally just like ditch out early from work and go hike in the hills until I get old and die. Like that's what I want. Like I'm off of art as a career. I'm off of art as being successful. You know, like even if my project I'm working on right now is successful, like even if like Netflix was like, fuck, we need this documentary going now, I'd be like, cool, thanks, do it, I'm out. I'm done.
You don't even have like an interest from a creative play standpoint to do it?
Yeah, like I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, if you have something you want help with, you let me know, I'll help you. But like
Does it bring
literally
you joy to do that?
I love helping other people.
Okay. I'm same. Clearly,
Yeah, myself, like it's very hard for me to be like, oh my God, I have this idea for a little skit that I want to do and I want to go and create it.
Direct
oh my
it,
God.
basically.
Yeah. No, I will not make film for myself anymore. I'm done. I don't care. I don't want to do it. Right? Like for a while I was doing YouTube. For a while I was doing like TikToks and shit like that. No, I don't care anymore. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like maybe at some point if I'm in the woods and I have too much free time, I'll try YouTube again. But that's because I love video games. Right? Not because I like the creative video making process anymore. That like at this point and for the last like I think it's been like 5 years, I'm off it.
Well, yeah, it
Maybe it's
feels
been,
like
like,
when you
7
get
years
into
now.
career territory, you start doing almost all your time feels like it's spent doing everything but the part you like about it. Right?
Yeah.
Like the play part, the fuck around and like it's like I think of what I do right now. I realized the other day I'm like I'm just in my room, my ship, fucking around with a camera. What did young me do?
Yeah.
He did that. I'm letting him play. This has no attachment to fucking all this other shit. But when you gotta sit down, you gotta edit it, and you gotta make it into a TikTok, and you gotta do all the fucking corporate bullshit legwork is where it all falls apart, right?
Yeah.
That's where it sucks. And like, that's why I'm always curious to know, because like when I think of you a lot too.
I'm so glad we're on the same wavelength, even though we're like nebulas apart.
Because what I feel like I have this like this drive now following this like personal deep dive and this empathetic feeling I feel to other people and how it must feel as I've felt and I want to help and all this stuff. I want to be able to create something, a business. We'll call it a business because that's what I think. Side quest, real quick here. The whole like being an artist thing. I feel like if someone would have told me, you just like obviously you need to be an artist. # be yourself. You just need to be yourself, but you need to actually build a business around being yourself. That is what I feel like is what was missing. If I just would have approached it as in like create a business that's primary goal is to let you be yourself, I would have not done so many other things. I would have spent that time creating a unique model that works in my favor and my skill set and all this shit that will let me do that. And
well, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because like novelty sells, right? Like you need to have novelty, and like you are an individual that is so novel, and like people don't realize, like, yeah, I mean, you can do anything. We see it all the time. It's like somebody has a bucket of cat litter and puts their hand in it and just records it, and they just stick with that. They just stick with different types of cat litter and putting their hand in it, and
real?
Suddenly they have an Instagram following, right? Like
real?
it's just insane. Like,
is this you?
I don't know. I made it up.
Do you have this Instagram account?
It's my OnlyFans. I'm just I get my nails done, and then I like...
Wait, Only Sans.
It's different types of grain.
Only
it's like chia
Sans.
seeds.
No, you're right. Like, that's just was such a big message. And so, where I'm going with all of this is, I think about this, and I'm like, I would feel very fulfilled if I could create that thing that lets me do myself and also lets other people do those things that they get joy from, right? Mm-hmm. Playing with a camera. I don't want you to do the shitty part you hate. If you like to walk around, that's why I'm curious for you, like, what is perhaps that part of that creative world that you really a lot of value of? Because it's like, well, if I have a thing, I want to plug you into it, because obviously you're my sister and I feel like you get me. You help me be me. So I want people around who are helping me be me to support this thing. And if it brings you joy and you don't got to fuck with any of the parts that make it shitty for you, then it feels like a win. Because I think there's joy to be had there in this thing that obviously was once very important to you. Yeah. You just kind of ended up in this area of it where you had to fuck with all the other parts that weren't actually any of the part you liked.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, like, I'm an amazing director and creative producer.
Okay.
Like, I'm so good at, like...
But you're saying for, like, other people. You're saying... Because you said you don't want to direct any or, like, make your own shit. So you're saying in regards to other projects?
Yeah. Like, if, like, people be like today, my friend was like, I need a new headshot. And I was like, okay, like, what do you like? And then she was like, well, I don't know. I kind of want it to be, like, earthy and this and that. And, like, I would like it to be, like, a little interactive, like, maybe me painting or, like, drawing, but also I think maybe kind of it shows me clearly. I want it to have, like, a lot of me in it, but also, so she, like, laid this out, and I was like, okay. I think I got it. And I was like, we're going to put you at your desk. We're going to fill the background with a bunch of art that you've done. Like, we're going to hang it all over the wall. So it's, like, cluttered, right? But you're the centerpiece. You're going to wear something that's, like, juxtaposing the colors and everything of everything else. But it's going to be, like, warm and earthy. And you're going to have a pad in your hand. But you're going to kind of be pinup girly, like, sitting there, like, I can't see because I'm, like sexy like this, like... And then the background, it's noise, but you're, like, very clearly the subject, right? And I'm describing this idea to her, and she's like, yes, like, that's what I want. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to put that to, like, I have the idea in my head. I think that's great. Like, we can do the costuming. We can figure out how to lay out, like, the whatever. And, yeah, I'll take the picture because I know how to do that, right? But, like, having people be like, I want this thing, or I have this idea... and I think it looked kind of cool like this, and, like, giving me an idea of, like saying, well, I like this post, or I like this thing, like, then I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, no, I think it'd be a good shot if you come in like this, then we have this other thing come in, all this other stuff. I really do well with that, but that's the thing,
like
is
that shit too. Why are we... Like, I literally, everything you were just saying, I'm like, yes, because I like to solve the puzzle. I like taking all this information in, and I want to figure out how to, like, bring it together into this thing for what the person's looking for. Like,
I think we just like making other people's dreams come true.
You hear that, folks?
We'll start a business off of that.
Yeah. Listen, if you need dreams coming true... we can't
make our own dreams come true.
Yeah.
Because our dreams hinge on other people.
Yeah, if you need dreams coming true, come to us, because we'll put our dreams on hold to make your dreams come true.
For you.
And that's why your dreams will come true, because other people won't do that shit. They'll still put their own dreams first.
We'll be a slave labor to your happiness.
This should have been a truth cam moment. You hear that, folks? Slave labor.
Realistically, for myself, what do I want?
Yeah.
I want to live in the woods, listen to good music, and then make little spoons. And then I want to go to like
You sound like a witch.
farmer's market every like month and then sell them.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that for you.
Just seems very tangible. With like
Tangibility is big for you now.
I think so. I'm not quite cottagecore, but I'm just like
but
very,
you're a cottagecore adjacent for sure.
I'm like cottage witch.
Yeah.
Like I'm Baba Yaga. I've got like a fucking cottage, but it's like made of chicken feet.
Yeah. Oh God. No wonder you and Sadie get
And I
along.
make people's dreams come true.
Yeah, you just make them put something in your pot to make a potion or some shit.
I love to eat.
I like ham.
You could just feed me. I like ham. Now is a good time. I like ham.
I like ham. I need to get that as a
button?
soundboard bite.
Ah,
I
sent you the video.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I texted it to you.
I like ham.
I love
What is
ham.
what is
Maybe
your
that's what it
affinity for ham? Because I don't exactly understand, and I'm
I love
sure
meat.
if anyone out there on the internet is listening, they don't either.
I love meat. I don't know. I just really love it. I have had an affinity for a couple things in my life. Mom will verify this. Ham and chicken nuggets. I don't know. They're great. I love them. I can't not eat them. Always been who I am. I don't know. I remember I was dating this guy named Liam, and like he met Mom, and we were
I
hanging
remember
out,
him.
and literally he like was like, "Hey, Colleen, has Melanie always been
Have you always been into chicken nuggets?
Stardust? Hello?
Have you always liked
Yeah,
chicken
he was
nuggets?
like, "Oh no, I think I'm stuck." Am I stuck?
Uh-oh. Space dust
Hello?
is coming at an all-time high.
It's back. I'm back.
All right.
He was like, "Colleen, has Melanie always felt this way about chicken nuggets?" And Mom didn't even hesitate. She just immediately was like, "Oh my God, yes." Like, absolutely. Ever since she was a child. Like, I was... Which one of us? Was it you? When she was pregnant, she would make like a vat of Sloppy Joe mix. And then she would literally, I think it was with you. She would literally like, or maybe it was me. Maybe that's why I feel some sort of way about Sloppy Joes. And she would bring it into the bed, and she'd take like a bag of buns, and she literally would like separate the bun and then into the pot and into her mouth.
Wait, what?
It was her craving. Yeah, Sloppy Joe.
I'm going to blame
I
that
think
one on you, dude. I don't
No, I think it was you.
That ain't
I
me,
think
man.
it was with you.
Listen.
I do love Sloppy Joes so much. I would take a vat of Sloppy Joes and eat it in bed.
You're hearing it right here first. Truth Cam. I'm a whole lot of shit, but I am not that type of chaos. Okay? I am not.
I am tempted to call her right now.
Listen, be my guest, because I've tried calling her forever.
Hold on. I'm going to see if I can get an answer on this. We're going to figure out about the Sloppy Joe thing.
If you get through to her, I'm going to be so pissed. I've been calling...
We know I won't, but like, let's give it a shot.
I've been calling this woman for years.
Hold on. She's not going to answer. Oh my God, Mom.
What?
What?
Oh.
Can you hear this, Kyle?
Yeah? Hello,
Okay.
Mom?
Mom. Oh, she can't hear you, Kyle, because
Okay.
you're in my headphones. Hi, Mom. Really quick. Sorry, Kyle and I are on a podcast.
Mom, I'm stuck in space. You never
Can
answer
you?
my calls.
She can't hear you, Kyle.
Okay.
Can you verify for us which one of us was the one when you were pregnant you couldn't stop eating Sloppy Joes?
That was Kyle.
I knew it. It was Kyle.
Everything else tasted bad.
No!
He's screaming.
No!
And anything rich and sweet made me puke.
And was it true you would like make like a pot of sloppy Joe mix and then like eat it with the buns?
Fucking god damn it.
Oh yeah, I'd eat it and eat it and eat it and eat it. I loved it.
I told him that, and he like was like, "Nah, that ain't me." I was like, "Absolutely." And I was the baby where in the delivery room, Dad was eating Cool Ranch Doritos, right? And you were gonna vomit.
Oh my god. I was like, don't touch me, stay away from me, go wash your hands. You're disgusting. Leave me alone. Don't touch me.
Weren't you like, get out of the room?
I was gonna vomit.
Yeah, she was like, get out of the room, get out. I'm going to vomit.
Yeah. I think I delivered all by myself.
Yeah.
I kind of crouched up. I did the old Indian in the field, crouch on the bed.
And did you not crouch on the bed to shoot me out and you were yelling, get the alien out of me?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like so ready for the alien to come out. I carried you very, very low, so it felt like you were between my knees.
And that is why you had to get a hysterectomy.
You're probably right.
I dragged it out of you. I didn't want to leave.
I said to the doctor, it kind of seems like my innards are going into the toilet. And he goes, there.
I just took the whole thing with me.
Push him back. Push him back in.
I am shocked Kyle doesn't know any of these stories. These are like, he's like hearing these and he's like, how have you not heard these? These are like staples in our household.
I don't know.
Because he's busy with other stuff,
Yeah. He's got his nose to the grindstone.
Yeah, doing something. Making a plan.
Yeah.
Ask her
what is your podcast on?
Ask her what
it's
her
Kyle's
psychological evaluation of that is.
God. It's Kyle's podcast. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm guesting on it, I guess. I called him because, he's been trapped in space for forever.
If she answered my phone, she would know that.
And he's actually curious what your psychological evaluation on his obsession with work is. What do you take away from that? Why is he that way?
He's his mother's child.
Would you think it'd be safe to say that, like, we were enticed, for lack of a better word, into being like busybodies?
No, because here I sit and I like power wash and I did all this shit today, and so my body's tired, but my mind needs to be stimulated.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing crossword puzzles and I have a book I'm going to read.
Right.
So
ask her why she's
needs
like
to be
that.
challenged.
Ask
always.
her what age she feels
my
stuck
dad
at.
is the same way and my brother John is too.
Why do you think you feel that way? Have you always felt that way when you were young, or does that feel like a younger age of you feels that way?
No, I was always busy drawing or painting, reading.
Like for how? Like what? How? When you
music on and then
ask
I'd be
her
reading.
if
Yeah,
she had to pick an age she feels that she was
if
psychologically
you
stuck
had
at.
to pick an age that reminds you of, though, how young do you think that feels?
9.
9?
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Interesting. And because you would do a lot of art.
What happened at 9?
Yes. I was not very social.
Do you was there anything significant when you were 9 that made you like be like think you had to be busy all the time?
I think that's when I realized I was creative.
Okay.
I learned to knit close to that age, maybe a little bit younger. I began drawing more. I began sewing. I began embroidery.
Did you just kind of find those yourself, or were these things that people taught you?
Pretty much. The knitting was the old aunts, the old kind of Czechoslovakian aunts.
Oh, the ones with the birds.
My great aunts, yeah. They give me the needles, they give me the yarn, here, do this. But they also, there is fabric painting that was roses. It was usually done on pillowcases and things like that. it's a very old European custom.
Yeah.
But, they would do that and they would bake.
So
Make
this just
cottage
feels
cheese
very
and-
like nostalgic for you, or do you think it's like a coping mechanism?
No way. Well,
really
I am
getting to it now.
definitely, if there's a problem, fix it.
Yeah.
There's that.
Preach, Mom.
I just know that
Preach.
art can be like
Okay.
super healing. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Good.
because
Good.
I've been painting the past few days, and power washing is my latest.
Naturally.
I like the idea of you
I
like
creating.
I like the idea of you like power washing like flowers into the house. Like into the
And
dirt.
I used
Oh,
to
yeah.
dream about things too, like dream about a room layout or something crazy
Mhm.
stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
and get
Okay.
up and like sketch something or make a plan.
Okay.
I used to carry a notebook with me. I wasn't a diary person.
So you're
Mom.
saying like
Who's put down ideas and thoughts and things I wanted to make or
Mhm. And
sketch
they never
out
stop.
something I wanted to make.
They never stop, dude.
are you saying that we're just like genetically then predispositioned to
Yes.
be like absolutely
100%.
like constantly moving?
Pretty much.
Okay.
When it comes time to go to bed, I just make myself go to bed. Usually I'm not tired. Other than last night, I was
Same,
reading a
dude.
book and I kind of fell asleep.
Yeah.
Do that.
But I'd
I can't
probably
do
been
that.
reading for like an hour. But I'm never really tired. I just make myself go to bed.
I've never been able to do that. I was the one with insomnia. I just like lay there trying to go to bed and I couldn't do it.
Well, I
Some
had
nights
to
are easier
train
than
myself
others.
when I was pregnant with Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe you trained yourself when you were pregnant with Kyle. Maybe it imparted because he's agreeing. He's like hearing you say this in my headphones and he's like, oh yeah, same. So I wonder if you like trained him in the womb.
I don't know. But
I
I've
don't
also had a number of surgeries. And when you do that, many times you're up taking medication every 3 to 4 hours. So you're getting broken sleep.
Okay.
So I've had to retrain myself to sleep,
Okay.
to be able to get enough sleep to be able to go to work.
I see.
When I had my tonsils out, my doctor had me have an additional week off for two things: proper eating, and training myself to sleep. Which is challenging because, like, I'm too busy to go to bed.
Yeah.
I might miss something.
Yeah. And there's so many exciting things to see, especially with all the lizards where you are.
Well, I'm kind of pissed now because the time changed this fall back. I'm like, I used to be able to finish my meal, clean up the kitchen, and go walking or go and power wash the deck or do some work outside. I'm like, what's with this dark shit?
Doing a lot of power washing.
Wow, things are dirty here. I just power washed my entire fence.
You'll get the full play-by-play here.
This has been wonderful.
Very insightful.
We actually really appreciate this phone call, but I'm going to let you go so we can finish up our chat. But I'll have to call you back and tell you about Thailand.
Yes,
Yeah,
do
answer
that.
my calls too.
You're available. I'd love to hear.
I'd love to share with you. Yeah. I'll send you some. Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Mom.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Wow.
See, I told you, you're Sloppy Joe, baby.
I can't believe that just happened.
How did you not know?
I don't know, man. I don't know how many times did she talk about that? A lot?
Kyle, every single one of my birthdays, she either finds me in person or calls me and relays the story of how I was the alien in the fucking womb to me.
Well,
The Sloppy Joe thing is lore that has been passed down to me countless times.
Through
She
that
would tell
same
me about,
conversation?
yes, she'll be like, this is how I had you and the Doritos. Oh my God. I remember when I used to eat Sloppy Joes with Kyle.
oh, that's so fun. Dude, I felt like during that conversation just now, I had this weird meta moment where I was like, like seeing her or understanding her more the way I think you do because of you've had these interactions. Like we don't have those conversations like that either as much or like I mean y'all live together like on your own without me longer, so naturally just the sheer proximities you're gonna get a lot of blowback from that. But like so but also I think there's perhaps a child and male female difference there that we don't really engage in those types of like she'll tell me shit, but like especially since I don't know, been more adultish, the conversations lean a little bit more like philosophical in life and like shit that I like, I don't know.
Shockingly, I've read several books on this. But we won't have to talk about that much.
Young
but yeah, no, I think that I also think, you know, you're her firstborn.
Yeah.
And I think like with that comes the idea of like, my son, the creative, living his adult dream, you know, where
maybe
I think there's also this dynamic of me being the youngest and her being like, oh, Melanie just getting out there and doing crazy shit. Who knows what she's going to do with her life, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But I think she likes that because I think that both of us offer her an avenue of life that she never had.
I agree.
Right?
And like she was saying, always stuff. Yeah, like she can keep up with it. There's always something new for her to learn that we're doing. Or like, that's true. Yeah. Well, I can't believe she answered you. Must be nice.
Maybe it's like an area code thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know she doesn't answer her phone if she doesn't know the phone number.
Well, that would explain a lot.
Yeah, like literally, like I could call her in like a situation where I was in danger or an emergency and I had to use a stranger's phone to get out of danger and emergency. I'd be completely fucked. Like she wouldn't answer. She'd be like, I don't know what you want me to do.
God, I feel like my brain grew with all of this. I just love conversations like this because I feel like you're like cracking some codes here and there. You're just like kind of chipping away at this like thing and picking up wisdom and becoming enlightened, some might say.
My hypothesis is that based off of some of the shit that I've done, the work I've done, you'll probably sleep okay tonight, but you might have some whack-ass dreams.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I'm down for that.
Well, is this the last time I'm going to see you for a while?
I mean, if the cameras and all the connection goes down, then maybe.
All right. Cool.
I hope not. Because this is what happened last night. Every time you pop in, every time we have a conversation, I feel like it's just like stimulating. It's like getting my brain massaged.
I have that effect on people.
So I hope that this is not the last time that I see you. I'm working, I'm trying to get this thing together. And at the very least, if we, have some video calls and transmissions in the meantime, until I figure out how to fix this whole unit.
Well, I'm traveling here soon, so I don't know if I'll be around for a while.
Where are you going?
Washington, the Cayman Islands, maybe Cabo.
Oh, okay.
Chicago.
Okay. Damn.
So I don't know when I'll be around to help you out with a mind massaging conversation again, but
well, this was sufficient to last me a while, as much as I want.
You've done all the work you need to.
Yeah. We literally had a session live. That was actually very cool, I feel like. How often is that done?
I don't know. I hardly do this. You're the only one I do this with.
Trained professional.
I guess so.
It was good. All right. Well, hey, do you know what a fucking AI kernel is?
I mean, I worked in a popcorn shop for 8 years, but I've never heard of that.
Well, yeah, it's not popcorn. I know kernel is similar, but like, so It's like a
Is this like what are those things you sell for money that are images?
an NFT.
Yeah, is it like that?
I don't know. All I know is that I have one, and I'm trying to install it, and it's like kernel like seed. Like you're supposed to put it at the root, plant it like literally into your system, and it grows. It helps.
Brother, you
I
had a
don't-
spaceship and I didn't understand that you even where you got one.
Here's what I'm. Yeah, but like. Well, you're just disconnected, okay? You don't. follow
I
me,
really
you don't-
am, honestly. I'm boomer
You don't
material.
keep up with my life. You're never calling me
boomer
like, hey, I
adjacent.
heard you did a show. That's pretty cool.
You're gonna talk to me, and the next time you're gonna see me, I'm gonna be like literally graying with crow's feet and
God, I hope
like
not. I don't
knitting
know.
a sweater for my husband.
I don't. Yeah, because we all know how time works in space. So things
Yeah.
aren't looking good for me.
Okay, but you have to install it in your. You have to
plant it
plant
at the
in your
root.
seed.
For all you techies out there, the root is if you're familiar with your OS, the root level. That's like the base, the ground floor.
Is it literally like touching the ground? Can't you just do that then? You seem to know where it goes.
It's tech talk.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't know. I just got this. I just found this, and that's why I'm curious if you know anything about it, because apparently the tech I have is completely out of touch and
Okay.
old.
Okay.
But I
Do you
guess
know what
not.
it does?
Thanks for
Do you
the
know
help.
anything?
No.
Sorry. I
Here's the best part, though.
can't even.
What?
I would be like, you're asking the girl who like.
Oh, don't play the
Hardly,
I'm just a girl card.
I.
You
I-
worked with video and tech. You're not that oblivious,
Yeah,
right?
but like I have Photoshop imposter syndrome, you know, where you
Oh,
like
yeah.
make something work, but it's like the shittiest way possible, like
Totally,
not the
yes,
right way.
I
Like
relate to
that's
that.
what I'm
It's
like
the I didn't go to school for this mode.
Yeah, it's like Adobe Vigilante. Like I'm getting the shit done, but
Yes.
it's not like the legal way of doing it.
Dude,
like,
it's just rogue composite artist syndrome.
yeah, rogue Adobe art.
Yeah, totally. I get that. I feel you on that for sure. Okay, I relate.
Cody always used to say that if anybody watched him graphic design, they would pay him immediately like half of what he quoted them.
Really?
Yeah, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? That's fake news."
But it worked.
Yeah. So I don't know. I literally didn't even know what an NFT was. I still don't get it. Like I understand that you're like selling photos for money, but why are they so expensive? And why can't people just like save the photo on their computer and then also make money off of that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you want the actual answer?
Can you make it layman's?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
So in that specific scenario, that NFT, it was very art focused. It's just like collecting art, right? But the problem with digital art is it can be downloaded, it can be
Right.
copied, it can be replicated. Granted, so can art in the real world, but it's a lot harder, right? So if Picasso makes a painting, you can tell by a lot of things and perhaps a signature and whatever that it's real. With digital art, it's different. Same with like you buy a song digitally. There's a lot of copies of that song out there. With an NFT, because in this specific type of NFT, because there's other types, because of it using blockchain technology, that technology is a way to prove that it is the original.
Okay,
It
like the
is the one of the
metadata
kind. Correct.
is like proving.
Correct. Yeah, it's just utilizing blockchain technology to prove that that digital art is one of a kind. It's just like collecting, but it's done in a digital realm where there's different problems you have to solve than how you would with real art in the real world.
So, like, why? I mean, is this like a thing where people buy the NFT and then they have like one of those like Bluetooth digital picture frames and then it projects the NFT like
Well,
into
that's
the
why.
frame so they show it off? Like, what is the fucking point of spending a ton of money on a thing that you own on the internet that other people want but nobody like? There's no tangibility to it.
Well, you could argue the same thing about Pokemon cards in a binder that nobody sees, right?
But you can tangibly own that, like, and do shit with it. You can play
Well,
with it, and you can
that
show people.
you can. It is a card game as well, but a painting
Yeah.
hangs on your wall. That's all it does. Most
Yeah,
people
but you
don't
still
see
like
it.
people can. So like, here's what I guess what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, like you have a real painting done by an artist, right? And people come over to your house for a dinner party, and they're like, "Wow, that's really cool," and you're like,
Sure.
"Thanks, it's like 1 of 50."
Sure.
Or it's like the original.
Yeah.
You buy an NFT and people come over to your house and you like, have you guys seen my NFT?
I've got two answers for you. Okay, think about this. Because it is digital, what's the digital version of people coming over to your house?
So yeah, what? Like you're gonna link it on your Facebook though? Like I
Or
own this
what-
NFT.
Or what did you see people doing? Making it their profile picture, right? And so
But anybody could do
could-
that by just
could,
copying it.
Correct. Correct. But there are other platforms that cater to this problem by basically acting as a room or a website or an account where you can link and connect your blockchain purchases. Because of how blockchain works, it's linked to your account and that specific, right? These are, I don't know the logistics of how they do that, but that's the equivalent of going to that person's house, right? Same, and get this, the next version of that is what? It's the metaverse. It's in VR where you go over, you pick up your Quest Meta 3 by Facebook and you go in and you go to your friend's virtual room where they have their virtual NFT hanging because Meta has a partnership with whatever platform that you can link your purchases on. And so when your digital friend comes over to your digital room, they see your digital art because guess what? They can't see your real art.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So it's just the same thing. It's literally meta. It's literally just like more of the same thing in a different way on a different, right? It's
so literally in my mind, I just saw that like people were buying these things off of whatever site was selling them. And that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you just paid how many thousands of dollars for this thing that just lives on this website that you're doing nothing with?
It got a really weird knack at the time because of, well, one, it was such a big bro craze and it was more or less investing for them. It was creating hype around anything like you would in the real world too with any stock, whatever. It's investment, even a painting you can create. There's demand, there's hype, it's worth value. And that's all based off perception that people believe it's worth the money. And so they want to try and get it, which makes other people want to try and get it, which raises the price and all that shit. So it's the same thing. It's just the digital version of that. But it was kind of annoying. It was not explained. It was all these dumbass monkeys. And they just happened to be the ones who got popular with it. But I loosely, briefly got into it because I got really excited by the idea. But I got excited by the idea of what you were saying with functionality of like Pokemon cards, right? You can also play a game with them. But what you can do is, like these websites I'm telling you about, there's wallets. And wallets are a way to store things on the blockchain. So what you can also do with that, with your phone and this digital wallet, is you can bake in functionality. So if a fan has this NFT and this NFT, they can show that at a show and get a ticket for free, or they can get in, they can get VIP, or when it's like collecting rewards or achievements on a video game. When they get 3, something happens, and that's all based off what you as a person or an artist want to bake or create for and you don't have to do that with NFTs. It was a little bit of a craze, but the way I think, because otherwise you have to build an app to basically create the same functionality and
Right.
Right. So that's what geeked me out about it is like, you know, it's like having a ticket on your phone
Right.
to a show. It's just
Yeah.
collected a different way. But at the end of the day, it's all the fucking same thing. But
Interesting.
yeah, nobody really gets it explained to them. And unfortunately,
Yeah, it was the thing is it's like anytime you're like, I don't understand the NFT thing, people would be like, you don't fucking understand? And it's like, no, like no one has.
With that,
Suddenly
it's
it's
also
a
just
thing.
like collector mentality. And if you don't collect things, you kind of don't get what collector type people like.
Yeah.
They like to collect things.
But it just sits there.
Yeah. Sometimes. And sometimes they like to look at it, and that brings them joy.
Thank you
go.
for educating me. Yeah,
You
I
educated
appreciate
me on a lot of things on Buddhism today, and I've educated you
Rough
on
understanding.
Yeah.
I'm just a
So,
girl.
well, where do we go from here?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's shockingly not late here at all, even though it feels so late.
Oh, you deep in that winter darkness?
Yeah, it's 6 something, but it feels like it's like 9 p.m. But oh well.
Okay, well, I guess if I don't talk to you for a long time, just hope I didn't die on this planet.
Yes.
And if I do die on this planet, then you can have my Pokemon cards if you take care of them.
I don't know how to get. Were they on the ship?
Yeah.
How do I get them? I don't understand.
I had all my life's belongings on this thing, dude. Oh, I don't actually know.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
How about this? If I die out here, please dedicate the rest of your life on one grand adventure to find my corpse and bring it back home for Mom to see.
That sounds like something I would have to dedicate the rest of my life to, and I love you, but like...
Okay, hold on. No, time out. That's you hiking in the woods, and you can whittle spoons in between for a long time.
I thought you said to find your corpse.
Yeah, you're going to have to go find me. You're going to have to go on travels and ventures and go all over these places.
Yeah, to like planets. Outer space. I'm going to have to build a ship and get some sort of like pilot training.
There's plenty of... The fact that I had this ship and it's already outdated says enough that there's people, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, there's the technology.
I make like $800 a month. Like, I don't know what you think I'm doing.
Is this because of the Sloppy Joe thing? Is this why you're treating me this way? Sick.
Yeah, I'm jealous that I'm not the Sloppy Joe baby. I'm just the alien Dorito child. I'm the alien Cool
Dorito
Ranch
child. Yes, there
I'm
it is.
The alien Cool Ranch kid. I will go on a quest to find your body.
All right. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to sign us off here? You signed us off a few times ago.
I forgot how to do it. I just say like...
What message do you want to leave everyone in space and time with?
It's kind of loaded, isn't it?
A little bit. Don't think.
Asking my 5-year-old self.
Yes.
I like ham.
Okay. That face is terrifying.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Installation complete. Rebooting system.